Of the second annual Cricket New South Wales Community Cup, sponsored by Frogbox. Been warmed up by the two semi-final fixtures played earlier today. Now we come to the final, which promises to be a cracking affair, with Lindfield and Wollongong locking horns to see who takes home the silver. Wollongong, the reigning champions, looking to make it back-to-back triumphs, while Lindfield looking to dust off the trophy cabinet and get a bit of silver in here for the 2024-2025 campaign. The very best of local cricket on display this afternoon. Alongside Andrew Menzel, my colleague, and on behalf of myself, Jack Clifton, we hope you enjoy what is in store for you over the next 3 hours or so. Men, it's delighted to be chatting cricket with you here again this afternoon. I've got the dream team back together. Some blustery conditions out here at Cricket Central, a little bit of cloud cover, but hopefully the rain stays away for what promises to be an exciting affair here in the final of the Cricket New South Wales Community Cup.
Yeah, what an exciting day for both these teams, playing in the final at Cricket Central, silverware on the line. So very much exciting afternoon for these local cricketers.
So Wollongong find themselves batting first here. Zara Smith and Threadgate, the two openers. They were able to vanquish the Entrance Cricket Club in the semi-final play just prior to this.
Yeah, that's right. Wollongong beat the Entrance. The Entrance batted first, making 8 for 139, and Wollongong chased that target down, just 6 down. And then in the first game, Lindfield beat Epping. Lindfield made 6 for 104. Their skipper top scoring with 27.
First ball of the innings and launched over the top. Bit of protection in the deep there for Lindfield. It's a decent chase across that deep cover region, and they'll start with 2 runs. So an aggressive start here from Zara Smith, looking to pick up where they left off in the semi-final. None for 2, Wollongong start.
Yeah, just in that first game for Lindfield, Pip Williams took 4 for 8.
Brilliant.
So the destroyer with the ball bowled out Epping for 83. That Epping side that was beaten, I think, had 5 staff members from Cricket New South Wales.
Frawley wide of the off stump, and thought about it for a while, the man in charge, and decides to call that one a wide. A low scoring game, as you would have heard those scores given out by Andrew Menzel in that Lindfield Epping clash.
In this Wollongong lineup, actually there's a name well known to New South Wales cricket fans.
It's a lovely drive, but a great piece of fielding down there at short extra cover. Well struck from Zara Smith.
You've got Cooper Maddinson and Lachlan Maddinson to come in this batting order. They are the brothers of Nick Maddinson, who unfortunately has been injured for the Big Bash season, but has come back to New South Wales this summer.
He's lofted this one over the top, maybe just enough over the top of the infield, and it kisses the rope for 4. Certainly not over the middle of the willow there from Zara Smith, but you take chances like this, you throw your hands and try and get plenty behind it, Menners. And
hitting straight is always a safe way to go. And if you're watching the coverage, you might have noticed they're using a pink ball, it looks like. So not the traditional white ball, but a pink ball.
So Lindfield have put a man back on the boundary at long on. Of course, the power play in the first 4 overs, only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. A swing and a miss, shy at the stumps there.
Frawley getting a bit of outswing there to the left-hander. Late swing. Yeah, you were saying about the 4-over power play. The rules in this competition are basically the same as the Big Bash. So they have the 4-hour power play, and then the batting side can take a 2-over power surge from the 11th over onwards. And we've seen how decisive that can be in the Big Bash this summer. I wonder if it'll be as decisive in this final.
Good start from Wollongong, none for 7. Zara Smith flays the arms there, well timed. As it hammers out through the cover region, but again the sweeper in the field positions from Lindfield working out nicely. None for 8 with 1 ball remaining in the first over. Thankfully we've had relatively dry conditions here in Sydney over the last 48 to 72 hours. We've had cyclonic conditions in most parts of Sydney. Trees coming down, telephone wires and electricity wires coming down. Thankfully it is a little bit drier. But still plenty of breeze around for the bowlers. Oh, last bit of late in-swing there from Frawley. So pretty tidy first over from him, just the one boundary. And Wollongong a none for 8 after 1, Andrew Mensel.
Today's coverage is proudly brought to you by Frogbox, the ultimate way to bring community cricket to life. Frogbox lets clubs stream every big moment so fans, families and friends can stay connected wherever they are. If your club isn't using Frogbox yet, visit frogbox.live to see how it can transform your cricket experience. Jake, you were talking about that wild weather. I was at the Sydney Cricket Ground on Friday night for the Sydney Smash, and about an hour before play, a little bit of sheeting from the underneath the Bill O'Reilly stand came loose and eventually fell down. They had to clear a big area of the stand. No one was hurt. It was managed very well, but it just sort of underlines how blustery and crazy those conditions were. But a lot clearer today. The wind's certainly not as strong.
Well wide of the off stump. Bit of a loosener there from Miles first up. So the second wide of the innings for the Lindfield side. We caught a glimpse of probably the last 20 or 30 minutes of that semi-final with Wollongong chasing runs, and in the end it was a pretty comfortable victory as they chased down 131. They are an aggressive batting unit. As you can see here, advancing is Zara Smith.
Now, we've been provided some bios on some of these players by Cricket New South Wales. So I'm going to give you Dan Miles' bio that I was given. He's called the Angry Ant, the former captain. Dan is getting married in a couple of months' time, a fiery opening bowler and very steady middle-order batter, a converted Pom. He moved here over 5 years ago.
This ball hit straight down the throat of mid-off. Zara Smith goes. Miles is happy about that.
He's not the angry ant, he's the happy ant now.
Yeah, collects the first wicket here for Lindfield. And an early breakthrough, not where Zara Smith wanted that one to go. His quick-fire knock comes to an end on 7, and Wollongong are 1 for 9.
Yeah, disappointing dismissal, just trying to go over the top of mid-off, not timing it, not getting enough elevation. And Miles gets the breakthrough.
Yeah, we saw in the last over Zara Smith not get one into the middle, that he just got enough of it over the man at mid-off. That time trying to replicate the dose and hit too high on the bat. And so that's the end of his innings.
Cooper Maddinson comes out to the middle. And I've got his bio. He loves music festivals and venturing to the Illawarra Hotel on a Saturday night. Also the brother of Nick. Now the left-hander.
That'll do it.
They're not all left-handers in the Maddinson family. Lachlan to come as a right-hander. Here he is.
But works it straight to mid-wicket. Almost the perfect start with the ball, isn't it, Manners, when you can pick up a wicket in the first or second over, because sometimes the batsmen, they come in and they're not as game, even though it is a power play, to try and go over the top.
Oh, most certainly, especially with the 4-over power play. If you can get an early wicket, then you can really curtail the scoring in those first 4 overs.
Shouldering arms is Maddinson.
A great initiative by Cricket New South Wales to hold the Community Cup Finals Day at Cricket Central today. You know, this is a first-class ground. A lot of Sheffield Shield cricket is played here. Last summer was the home of the Marsh One Day Cup Final, the One Day Domestic Cup. So, you know, it's a big ground, and for these players, must be a pretty exciting day.
This ball up in the air. Might have been pad more so than bat. Balloons out onto the onside. Yeah, we'll have a chat with Marty Gleeson, the head of community cricket for Cricket New South Wales, in the second innings, and yeah, we'll talk to him a little bit about this competition. But it is the first time that the Cricket New South Wales Community Cup is being played here at a first-class venue. The first time Cricket Central has had community cricket played as well. So ball lofted, and he gets plenty of this as Madison. A lovely lofted, timed off drive. And he picks up a boundary to finish off the over. Wollongong 1 for 13 after 2.
A wicket and 5 runs off that Miles over.
Yeah, well, speaking to a few of the Cricket New South Wales people involved in the construction of this competition, and it's something that I guess was mimicked from what they do over in the UK. Not in the county system, of course, but in club cricket over in the UK, where all the different teams play each other. And this is not just a Sydney-based competition, obviously, because there's a Wollongong team in here, but we've had teams from far west New South Wales and southern New South Wales that have been in this tournament as well. So it's almost like an FA Cup version of kind of amateur cricket here. And what a buzz it is for these very talented players to get a chance to play on a first-class ground, or in Wollongong and Lindfield's case, get to play 2 matches here at Cricket Central.
Absolutely.
Frawley to continue. His first over went for 8 minutes. And that will go down as a wide.
So Angus Frawley with the ball. He is described as Mr. Dependable. Gus will run in all day if you ask him to. So much so that he once bowled 34 overs in a row because the skipper asked him to. Left arm opening bowler who could get a clay brick to swing and has a huge engine. Well, here we go.
We've got that one to swing late. It's really tailing in late here for Frawley. It was clipped away by Threadgate, who collects a single.
He's shown an ability to bowl a pretty handy Yorker so far in these first couple of overs, has Angus Frawley. And the old adage in limited overs cricket is you want to be on those stumps, so if the batter misses, you hit. Cooper Madison back on strike.
You know, my dad always used to tell me that, but I could just never hit the stumps. Made batters miss sometimes, but the ball just always seemed to be travelling over the stumps for me, Menace. Hence why I'm here and not out here on either of these units today. Playing a miss outside the off stump there from Madison. He's not keeping much in the cupboard.
Yeah, the wicketkeeper got very excited. I don't know if there was any bat on that, but the keeper standing up to the stumps to restrict the batter's footwork to keep them in the crease, but it does make it difficult to take any chances off the edge.
Just dead bats that one onto the onside. Madison. So Lindfield have done a really good job. Asked to bowl first or field first, and they've kept Wollongong in check so far in this first power play. The one thing you don't want is the score ballooning to 40, 45, 50 or above in that first 4-over period, which can very easily happen. But sitting at just 15 halfway through the third over. Wide, well wide of the off stump. Just not able to negotiate that swing, and it's another wide. 3 by Frawley so far, and 4 in the innings by Lindfield in just the third over. That's a lovely punching drive out through the covers, but just a single.
Well timed there from Madison, and they seem to know he's batting well because there was a deep cover and a deep long off to the left-hander.
Yeah, well, Lindfield played the first semi-final, so they're actually up in the box just adjacent to us. Mena's watching the Wollongong run chase and no doubt doing some homework on some of these top-order batters. Well, that's a lovely shot. That's a really lovely shot down the ground. Great authority there from Threadgate. Powerfully slapped it down the ground and didn't give the mid-off-fielder any chance. He moves to 5. It's 1 for 21.
You threaded the needle there, did Threadgate. He's the club's second-grade captain, a urologist by trade. And some trivia, he's heading to Japan on Monday night for a skiing holiday, so wouldn't it be great if he can go there with a title?
Oh, he's getting more runs here. Just a single. But he was able to get it down the ground past the stumps and will retain the strike for the next over. So Maddinson 5, Threadgate 6, trying to build something here as we edge into the last over of the power play. 3 gone. Wollongong 1 for 22.
9 runs came off that over, so a good one for Wollongong. I like the information we've been given.
It's really good.
Holidays. Threadgate here, it says he played in the New South Wales over 40s rep side earlier this season. As someone over 40s, I have a lot of admiration for Threadgate being able to keep out there at his age.
Well, helpful for us because we come in here fairly blind. Manners and I have done a lot of commentary at grade level, Sheffield Shield level, WNCL, even international tour matches. But we come in here obviously not knowing any of these players. So it is really helpful that, both clubs have given us an insight into the background of some of these players today. And we get to highlight them during the coverage. Oh, he's trying to really hammer that one away. It's a dangerous shot there from Threadgate, though, because they have got protection out at deep mid-wicket. He's about 15 metres in from the boundary. So you'd have to really get that one out of the middle.
Yeah, so there's a deep mid-wicket on the boundary, and there's a deep cover.
Let's get you a high chair so you can see up out of the box and see where everyone's standing, Manners.
Thanks, Jack.
Milk crate. I always have to do it once. It's almost like gets me in the groove for commentary. I say it once, Manners. That's another wide. It was well wide of the off stump, and Threadgate unable to connect.
Quite a few extras so far.
Yeah, by my count, I think that's 5 wides in 3.1 overs. So they won't want to continue on this trend that's kind of just below 2 per over. Oh, this ball's skied. Fielder trying to get underneath it, but it just is skied enough away from him. And Threadgate will get back unconvincingly, but pick up 2 runs and continues his stay at the wicket.
Well, I guess the difference there was he fully committed to the shot. He really went after it. Didn't time it, but he put enough gusto in it to get it over mid-off. And I was trying to think what would be a good score. And I think if the team batting first can get above 120, they're in the game. Anything above a runner ball at this level can be defended.
Yeah, I think Lindfield definitely relying on their bowling, aren't they, after restricting Epping to just 83. I only managed 104 in a low-scoring game, and then we kind of saw a couple of middling scores in the second semi-final where the entrants made 139 and Wollongong was 6 for 143. So, yeah, I'm of the opinion of you. I think, if you bat first, they can get something between that kind of 130 to 145. I think you're feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably want more than that, I'd say, Wollongong, if you ask them. Cutaway, uppishly, but plenty of green pastures found out there. And they'll come back for 2. It was well run, especially by Maddinson there, who turned quickly and collects a goal. But they're laying a fairly decent platform so far, Manners. 1 for 28 in the 4th over. Run rate at about 7.6 runs per over.
Yeah, very good. Very good start.
Small eked away, but straight into fine leg.
Almost got through him there with a bit of late movement. But Cooper Maddinson just managed to get a little bit of willow on it. Yeah, but I think considering that this is, the 3rd game on this pitch, looking at the scores today, if Wollongong can get above 120, I think they're in the game. And then, as you were saying, above that 130 and into the 140s, they'll feel that they can defend it.
Genuine edge there. And him playing down the line and almost got one past him. A couple of really good balls here to finish for Miles. His 2 overs have seen him collect the only wicket so far and concede 11. And that is the power play. Done. 4 overs in the books and Wollongong 1 for 28.
Yeah, very good. I would say honours even after the first
I think
4
so,
overs.
yeah.
That last over just went for 6 runs, which is good performance from the Angry Ant. Miles there. But also interesting to see, which team copes with the pressure the most. This would be one of, I guess, the biggest games a lot of these players have ever played in. The fact that it's a final at Cricket Central being televised, it would bring pressure to these players that they're probably not used to. I've actually played in the same competition that Lindfield played in a long time ago, and guarantee it's a big step up from some of those grounds in Gordon that they play being here at Cricket Central.
Yeah, it's a big ground, isn't it?
So who can handle the pressure the most?
Going to go and have a bit of spin here. Chan being thrusted into the attack. Julian Chan. Starts with a bit of a loosener outside the off stump. Gets out of it with just a single, though, as the power play has ended. A few more fielders out in the deep as the sun peers its way through here at Cricket Central.
Yeah, so Julian Chan, nicknamed Jackie Chan, obviously a homage to the famous movie star. He used to bowl seamers before changing to left-arm orthodox.
Comes left arm over. Cut away by Maddinson out to that deep cover roll again.
One for 30 in the 5th over.
Tries to launch this one. His eyes really lit up there, Threadgate. Whether it's the left-hander hitting out to deep mid-wicket or the right-hander hitting out to deep extra cover, there's plenty of work out there for those fielders on the offside for Lindfield.
It's really easy to see this pink ball, isn't it?
Oh, good flight. Took a bit of pace off it as well, didn't he, Julian Chan? That's good bowling.
Just went on with the arm nicely there. He's got actually good shape on the ball in these first few deliveries.
Oh, should have been taken. Probably surprised him, and it came relatively quickly because it just bounced out of the hands so quickly. Afterwards for Chan, a missed opportunity there as Maddinson was able to get down the other end. Hopefully not a rude chance for Epping. Oh, this ball's been skied. This one might be taken. Oh, no, it's been put down as well. So 2 drops in 2 balls. Both Maddinson and Threadgate given lives. And they'll get 5 off the over. Disappointing end there for Chan, who could have at least had 1 wicket on either of those last 2 balls. It's 1 for 33 after 5.
Well, what do they say? Catches win matches, and they could rue both these chances. That's Threadgate there, trying to open up and hit it over the offside. Lost his shape, kind of sliced the ball, and tough catch actually running back. Probably tougher of the 2 catches. Both those never easy. The first one, Julian Chan in his follow-through, trying to take a return catch. Always hard for the bowler in there. Cover running back with the ball coming over his shoulder. Not easy. Both chances going down, so Manson and Threadgate survive. Change of bowling at the southern end of the ground. Well, what do we call that when we're here for the Shield? Is it the southern end?
That's the southern end, yeah. That's the easiest.
I have no sense of direction. So
I think this is the river end, because this is the Parramatta River end of the ground, kind of behind us. So,
and so James Mundy has the ball. Here he is. Can he make an impression? Quicker ball, flatter ball. Redgate plays to cover. So they call James Mundy the money man. Munds follows in the footsteps of the great Shoaib Bashir. Hit wide of cover. Taken 1. Will they think about 2? Threadgate turns slowly. Probably the wrong end there, needed to go to the keeper's end. James Mundy, the money man. He's in the same program that Lindfield obtained Shoaib through. So I'm guessing Shoaib Bashir played for Lindfield at one stage. Shoaib Bashir, Test cricketer for England. In the air, over mid-wicket, in the gap, not timed. And again, two more. Threadgate, I think feeling every day of his over 40s running all these twos. Mundy takes wickets for fun and is in part of the endless list of South African-born Englishmen. Mundy's coming off a player of the match performance last week. That ball's cut behind point on the offside. They take one. The money man's leaking a few runs at the moment, Jack.
Yeah, he is. It's not coming right out of the middle for the Wollongong batters. So, yeah, I guess the fact there's been probably close to 80 overs already bowled on this pitch, it might the bounce might be a little bit soft, a little bit tacky. Maybe that's good for Wollongong batting first. Be harder to chase later in the afternoon or the evening. But yeah, not really easy going for the batters at the moment. And that credit has to go to Lindfield's bowlers as well. I think they're mixing up their pace, their lines, their lengths, coming over the wicket, coming around the wicket. Just, yeah, those little nuances as a bowler you can use.
Oh, he's bowled him straight through Cooper Maddinson there, sweeping across the line, didn't make any contact, and the money man Mundy gets his first wicket of the day.
Yeah, good ball there. Don't think that was a shot to play from Maddinson, looking to sweep across the line. Obviously wants to keep that scoreboard ticking over, but you know, a little bit of a precarious position now. Wollongong, they've looked to be aggressive. They've looked to try and push that score along. But that was a full delivery. Drifted in a little bit of breeze behind him for Mundy, and after going for 5 runs of his first 4 bowls, he finishes with a dot and then a much-needed wicket. So 2 down, and I think Lindfield pretty happy. But I guess back to what we said at the power play, again, I think this kind of evens it up. 2 down, 30 out on the board for Wollongong. It's you feel this is going to be a tight contest all afternoon, Menners.
Yeah, absolutely. Wickets definitely slow the run rate down. So that brings a new batter to the crease. Toby Dodds, the skipper, joining Threadgate out in the middle.
Yeah, the Wollongong skipper, Toby Dodds.
Yeah, so just so at the end of the over, it's 2 for 38, a wicket and 5 runs came off that Mundy over. Julian Chan to continue. 4 plays in the deep, protecting the boundary. Threadgate on strike. He's on 17 off 14. Can he go on with it? Well, he thought about coming down the track. Chan just held it back. He's a crafty customer. He's Julian Chan. So that is right. I've done some research. Shoaib Bashir, the spinner for England, did play for Lindfield Cricket Club. Back cutting into the deep. They take one.
We've seen that a few times, haven't we? When I think Mason Crane came over and played grade cricket for Gordon. Was playing first grade, admittedly.
You know, I often see them playing in the Shires comp. So Bashir played in the 2022-23 season, and he'll actually be out here for the England Lions, I think, playing later this year when they take on Australia A in a tour game next month. So here's Chan.
Any chance Lindfield are trying to twist his arm, see if he a celebrity appearance
exactly.
for Lindfield?
I just wonder how many Test cricketers Lindfield Cricket Club have had.
Yeah, I know.
Played down the ground, but they must be very proud to have had
Definitely.
Shoaib Bashir play for them. He's taken 49 Test wickets at an average of 40. So he'd want to bring that average down by about 10. Anyway, back to the action here. Chan continues, drops it a bit short. Threadgate plays behind point, well placed. They're going to get 2 more. A lot of twos so far. Big ground. Score now 2 for 42. Lindfield won the toss and sent Wollongong in to bat. They've lost 2 wickets. Chan, last ball of the over. Short ball and Threadgate. Oh, there was an attempt of a run out at the non-striker's end. Threadgate just made it. And that ends the over. 2 for 43. 5 runs came off that Chan over.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the bowling attack so far here from Lindfield, and yeah, the way they've kind of mixed things up. They've had spin from both ends, but even the bowlers thinking about where they're wanting to bowl. I think, yeah, sometimes in the heat of the battle, Menez, it's very easy just to kind of stroll in and bowl and not think about where you're wanting to put the ball, slower balls, quicker balls, those kinds of things. But yeah, really good variations, and obviously they've got a plan, they're sticking to it, and it's been an almost faultless first 7 overs here for Lindfield.
Mundy continues to Threadgate. It's a wide ball.
And that's probably the one thing that hasn't been faultless, has been those 5 wides. That probably lucky to get away with that one Mundy. Could have been a 6 there, but yeah, apart from that, they've kept it in check, and the run rate only 6 runs per over as well.
Mundy continues, tosses up, and Threadgate tried to go down the ground. Didn't connect. There are 2 players in the deep. There's a long off, a long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, deep cover. So 5 men on the rope protecting the boundary. A lot of gaps behind square on either side. Back, bottom edge. They take one.
Yeah, I do wonder if, before this match, what Lindfield would have been happy chasing. They can restrict them to kind of 120, 125. Are they happy with that? Do they want to keep them closer to 100? Especially if wickets tumble, they might be able to see this run rate dip even further than it has.
James Mundy's firing them in there. Lot to live up to. If he's in the same program that Shoaib Bashir was in.
Yeah, that's right.
The money man. Well, can he be on the money now and get a wicket? Because unlucky in his... Got 1 wicket so far, 1 for 7. Threadgate plays that powerfully along the ground. Take 1 more to the fielder in the deep.
Yeah, they've done their homework, haven't they? These fielding positions that they've used, Lindfield, we've barely seen any boundaries, haven't we? It's been a long time.
The skipper there plays it behind square leg and they get 1. Doesn't beat the fielder there. Good stop. That ball was travelling. Now, you're right. They've managed to stop the boundaries. And the score is 2 for 47 after 8 overs. Just 4 runs coming from that Mundy over. So tidy stuff from the off spinner. Dodds is on 3. Threadgate on 23. Julian Chan to continue from the cricket central end. The left arm orthodox spinner bowling to the skipper Dodds. Threw it up there and he stroked it down to long off for a single. Threadgate back on strike. He's on 23 of 22 deliveries. In the air, over long on, and that is going all the way for 6. Threadgate has got onto that one and smashed it over the boundary.
Yeah, really good shot there. Used his feet well, got to the pitch of it, and that was the clean strike right out of the middle, wasn't it, Menez?
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Chan threw that up, inviting Threadgate to try and hit it over the top and in the air, and he did, but well over the boundary. He's on to 29, and that brings up the 52 for 54 for Wollongong. Played to short cover and they get one. Bit of a misfield there. Threadgate now onto 30. 30 off 24, and I think so much of the fate of this innings depends on Threadgate. Can he go on and make this a big score? A swung away behind square on the onside. Bit of work for the fielder to do, and he won't get there. And that's another boundary for Wollongong. They're starting to race along now. The score 2 for 59. The skipper getting in on the act.
Yeah, good shot. Far too short there from Chan, and gave the Wollongong batters, and has given the Wollongong batters a chance to really just swing across the line. And that was easy pickings, and they've just, I said that the runs weren't really flowing. There wasn't boundaries. They've picked up a 6 and a 4 in this over alone.
Wide of the off stump, and Dodds drives that wide of long off. They take one, and they're going to come back for a second. Good running from the Wollongong batters. Score now 2 for 61. An expensive over for Chan. Just back and playing behind point. And another 2 for the Wollongong batters. Canny stuff from this pair. Just looking for the gaps. Taking 2s when on offer, and the score 2 for 63 now. 16 runs came off that Chan over. So don't think we'll see him bowling again, and he'll rue dropping a couple of drop catches off his bowling in the 5th over.
Yeah, definitely. It can change very quickly, can't it, cricket? Have a chance to get 2 wickets and an over. Doesn't fall your way, and then, it's a big over. One that Wollongong probably needed. Gets that run rate to hover up about 7 and over, and, Threadgate, he's the key, isn't he? 30 not out from 24. Often you want one batter to, if not bat through the whole innings, bat at least deep into the innings.
Mundy continues. Wide of the off stump. Just played through the gap on the offside for a single.
He might be that guy. He loves to stand and deliver. He's got plenty of power in his shots as well. And
I wonder if they'll think about taking that power surge pretty soon while Threadgate is out there.
Yeah, teams leave it too late, in my opinion.
Mundy, quicker ball, and he pinned Dodds to the crease, but he was able to just get enough willow onto it to play it into the onside for a single.
Yeah, we see a lot of teams really wait until the last 2 overs of the innings, which I think defeats the purpose of taking it. I think, you've got to be strategic, and with one batter on 13 and one on 31.
That's well wide. Tossed it up. Close to a no ball. I think it just landed on the cut surface.
You've got 2 well-set batsmen, but you've got the momentum as well. They had a big over last over. A couple of singles to start and a wide here.
Short in the air, but behind square. No fielder there, and they've got one. Yeah, you can take the power surge anytime from the 11th over. So with 2 set batters, might be the time to take it.
Yeah, and you kind of feel like Lindfield are just losing their way a little bit. Having to bring on like the 4th and 5th bowlers.
That's hit beautifully behind square on the onside for 4. Too short from Mundy, and Dodds was onto it in a flash. He moves along to 17 off 10 deliveries. He's got off to a fast start. The Wollongong team are now 2 for 71.
Yeah, he's really added the impetus here, Dodds. The skipper, he's come in and has looked to be aggressive from ball 1. He's found the gaps. He's hit a couple of boundaries. I think it's really helped Threadgate move on as well. But, ominous signs here for Lindfield.
Quicker ball, and again, just played into the offside for a single. 2 for 72 now. Wollongong are starting to put together a very handy total here. Back cutting to the sweeper on the offside. Threadgate moves to 33. Score goes to 2 for 73 after 10 overs. So the first half of the Wollongong innings is complete. That Mundy over went for 10. And you would have to say, Jack, that probably Wollongong take the honours in these first 10 overs.
Yeah, I think the last 2 or 3 overs, They've really been able to build something. They were 2 for 38, so this pair's put on a quick fire stand of 35. And yeah, like if you double from here, which I think is a legitimate thing to do as fans and commentators, 146, you'd be loving that. And if they keep wickets in hand, then maybe even more. As it looks like Chan's going to continue. It looks like they're going to bowl him out here. So his 3 have gone for 26.
They haven't taken the power surge, so let's see what happens.
Oh, almost chopped on there from Threadgate. It's really trying to monster that through the offside. It's got a deep mid on, or a long on, I should say, a deep cover, or a deep cover point, a regulation cover. Oh, advances and stumped. Chan gets the breakthrough. Finally gets his name on the score sheet in the wickets tally after 2 drop catches in his first over. And Threadgate's innings of 33 has to come to an end. An important knock at the top of the order, but just when the momentum was shifting and just when it looked like Wollongong were at a risk of maybe taking this game away from their rivals, they lose their third, Andrew Menzel, 3 for 73 in the 11th.
Well, it was third time lucky for Chan. Couple of drop chances in his spell so far, but then third time lucky, the wicketkeeper with a very smart stumping dismisses the opener who was looking in good form and well set. Threadgate trudges off for a well-made 33 of 29 deliveries. And Jack, we weren't sure if bringing Chan back for his 4th over was a good idea. Well, it worked, that's for sure. And a much-needed breakthrough for Lindfield. Brings Chappell to the crease.
Yeah, I can understand the idea of going after the spinner in his last over, but not able to connect on that occasion. So 3 for 73 after 10.2. These next 2 or 3 overs are going to be very intriguing to see how this match pans out.
James Chappell back and defending. Got some notes here, so the wicketkeeper for this team. Also a very good guitar player.
Wow. It's never been my strong suit, musical instruments, Menace, so always in awe of people that are good musically, gifted musically is probably the best way to describe it.
Well, I wonder what sort of tune he's going to play with the bat today.
And he knocks this one through the offside for a single. He's off the mark. Just 1 from this over so far. It's been a really good last over for Chan, and if he can keep a lid on things with this last ball, it's going to be a pretty tidy 4-over spell for him. 3.5 overs, 1 for 27. And he'll finish with just 1 run and a wicket off his 4th and final over. And what a momentum shift this could be for Lindfield. He finishes 4 overs, 1 for 27. Julian Chan. And Wollongong are being pegged back once more. 11 overs gone. It's 3 for 74.
Good over from Chan there. Came back well after being expensive the over before. Went for 16 in his 3rd over. And then just 1 run in his 4th over. And obviously took the wicket of Threadgate. Also, I've got in the notes here about James Chappell that he owns 4 properties around the Illawarra. And I wonder if that's a shot at, or if that's just a bit of a humble brag. Because owning 4 properties in Sydney would be a lot.
I think
challenging.
the prices are skyrocketing down the Illawarra, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think all the Sydney-siders that haven't been able to afford properties the last decade in Sydney have moved down to the Illawarra region. Yeah, I do wonder if this was sent out en masse to the players and then to send back a few little little tidbits about their life, or whether it was one of the team managers that's got infinite information about them. Sweeping, but not connecting. There is Dodds, and it's going to go down as a wide.
Looks like Mundy's going to bowl out his spell as well. He's in his 4th over.
Not happy about that Lindfield. Even the keeper's complaining that it hit the pad, therefore it couldn't be a wide. They weren't happy with what transpired in that last delivery. This ball hit through the offside. A desperate diving stop at cover able to reel it in, and one more to Dodds, the skipper now. He's probably the one that you want to try and bat through, if not for the remaining 8.3 overs, at least a large majority of that. It's a little bit of tip and run here from Chappell.
We're starting to get very competitive out there.
Mm.
You can tell Lindfield just feeling the pressure of some good scoring by Wollongong.
Short, this ball hammered out into the deep. Plenty on it, but it's a long chase out there to the boundary and a long hit, and they keep it to just the single. So good fielding. Bit of support for Lindfield here this afternoon, and they've enjoyed what they've seen so far.
He did well to keep that to one. Made a lot of ground quickly.
So they're putting the clamps on. These last couple of overs, Lindfield.
Yeah, Chappell just trying to use his feet there. Didn't quite get to it.
Whips this one away off the pads, and will pick up a single. So 6 from the over. It's another tidy one there for Lindfield, with Dodds on 20, Chappell 4. 3 for 80 now, with 8 overs remaining.
I wonder when Wollongong will take the power surge. I could see them looking towards the umpires. I wonder if they're going to take it now. Just wait, yes, and they've taken it. So I saw the skipper Dodds tell the umpire they were going to take the power surge. So huge couple of overs coming up in the context of this final. You've got the skipper Dodds on 20. Chappell's come to the crease. He's 4 off 7. So only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle for the next 2 overs. And Wollongong would love anything sort of above 20 off these next 2 overs.
Yeah.
They'll get them above 100, and then with 5 overs to go, with 6 overs to go after that, they could be really looking at a score of that 150.
They brought Frawley back into the attack. 2 overs, none for 17. The 2 fielders out are both on the onside. Deep mid-wicket on the fence and long on the fence. So I dare say we might see some hitting in that zone. And they'll run through as it ricochets off the pad, so at least getting a run there, which is what they want to do in these next 2 overs, Wollongong. They can't afford to be soaking up any dot balls.
Yeah, I think good from Chappell there to get Dodds on to strike. He's raced to 20 off 14. He's timed the ball well in his short stay at the crease, so you probably want him facing the majority of these deliveries in the power surge. Kind of a dream of mine to commentate on the power surge.
You do love it. You're a man of the people, manners. Love to be entertained. This ball spooned onto the onside. That's what they don't need. A dot ball. So Frawley mixing his length and his paces up here nicely.
I love now in the Big Bash when the power surge is on, they get a youngster from the crowd to press the button to turn it on.
Yep.
And they get all the lights going. You feel like you're in a nightclub.
Yeah, you'd like that. Reliving your 20s, are you, Manners? This ball hammer, that's a great shot. One bounce over the rope for 4. That's a bit more like what they need. Dodds moves to 24 from 16 and Wollongong 3 for 85.
Well, that was in the slot. I don't know if any of the viewers have watched the Big Bash coverage where they show on the pitch where the slot is. Well, that was in the slot. It was swinging straight into the middle of Dodd's bat. And he obliged with a beautiful shot.
Oh, should get a single here, a shot at the stumps, and Dodds picks up the single. So it's been a pretty profitable over so far. 6 from it, 2 balls remaining.
Handy stop from the cover fieldsman there on the circle. That was well hit. Had it got past him, would have been another boundary.
That's a good stop. That's good fielding there from Frawley. Good desperation there. Sprawled out on the turf. And this has been a pretty good first over of the power surge. Only 6 have come from it. Can Frawley get in and out without too much damage here in this last ball of the over?
Chappell needs to do something. And just squirts it away on the onside.
Oh, this is going to be close. No, they're happy just to not have a shot at the stump. So 7 from the over. Dodds to 25. Chappell 5 off 10 though. And 3 for 87 off 13 overs.
Honours even in that first over of the power surge, I think.
I agree.
If you're Lindfield only conceding 7, you'd be pretty happy with that. I just think Chappell's probably got to show a bit of intent here. A couple of balls, he faced, 3 balls of that power play. Didn't look particularly keen to attack the bowling.
Yeah, I think it's a stage now where they've got 87 on the board. They're not 3 for 20. So I feel like it's kind of hit or get out, isn't it? Try and continue to put some pressure on Lindfield. Maybe try and just get that single, rotate the strike, or get yourself out and get some of these big hitters in, especially with only 7 overs left. Like we're kind of getting to that stage where it's kind of pushing all your chips into the middle of the table, Manners.
Yeah, you've got to be brave. You absolutely have to be brave. He's the angry ant.
And soaks up another dot ball. 5 off 11 here, Chappell. And if you're Lindfield, you might not want to get him out. You might just want to put pressure on him, soak up some balls and build some pressure on Wollongong. How often can it affect the batter at the other end as well?
You've got to be brave. You've got to take some chances. And we saw that on the biggest stage on Boxing Day when young Sam Constas took matters into his own hands against one of the greatest fast bowlers we've ever seen.
Squirted out into the covers for a single. Did you catch the footage of the man here at Cricket Central that wanted to get an autograph with Sam Constas and forgot to put the handbrake up on the car?
I did. Poor bloke. So for those that haven't seen it, he pulled over when he saw Constas and jumped out of his car to get an autograph, but forgot to put the handbrake on, and you just saw footage of the CCTV of the car drifting across and hitting another car.
Oh, he's creamed this one down to long on, but one bounce down there to the man who is giving the protection for Lindfield. Just one. It's a big hit down the ground, especially for some of these players that might not have played at grounds that have boundaries this deep. Two off the over so far, Manners.
Dan Miles with the ball.
Another dot ball for Chappell. Just can't get it through the gaps. And this has been pretty feeble power surge for Wollongong. 9 runs off 1.4 overs or 10 balls. So hasn't gone the way they would have wanted. I'm sure 15 to 20 was what they were earmarking. But Chappell 6 off 13. Just has his feet stuck in concrete at the moment. Nudges this one away. So at the very least, he'll give the strike to Dodds for the last ball of the power surge. 3 for 90, Wollongong.
Yeah, Chappell's a bit of a throwback to sort of the anchor that we used to see in T20 cricket a few years back. A lot of the big bash clubs have kind of thrown that idea out the window, but where you have one player at one end who just looks to manoeuvre the strike, and then you go hard at the other end, so you're not losing wickets at both ends. But not working this power surge.
This ball skewed over the top, but just evades the fielders again. Good sliding stop there, and they'll get back for a couple. So Dodds will move along to 28. 5 off the over. Another very good one here for Lindfield, who just seem to be tightening their grip as they build some pressure on Wollongong. 6 overs remaining. Wollongong 3 for 92.
Yeah, so 12 runs came off the power surge, so Lindfield would be very, very happy with that. That's a very good result for them. Probably not enough runs for Wollongong in that power surge. And I guess I wonder if their skipper, Toby Dodds, made the right decision to take it then with Chappell at the other end. Only time will tell.
Well, 7 and over from here would get them to 134. Now, run rate at the moment is 6.6 metres, so 134 would be competitive. You're certainly not backing that horse in necessarily with 134, but you're probably feeling confident. If they could perhaps score at 8 and over for a couple of those overs or one of those overs, then you're creeping up towards that 140 mark like they scored in that win against the Entrance. 6-143, and they still had some balls up their sleeve in that fixture.
So the
Good start here from Williams.
The hero of the semi-final, Pip Williams, comes on to bowl. Took 4 for 8 in the semi-final, the leg spinner. Now, I've got a bio here. I just want to make it very clear I did not write this. Here he is again.
Gets to that on the full and slaps it out to wide long on or a mid-wicket cow corner region.
So this is what we've been told. It's the worst hairdo in Shires cricket, but we don't hold that against him. It's hard for me to comment because I'm just jealous he's got hair.
This ball swept away beautifully backward a square leg for 4. Valuable runs here for Dodds and Wollongong. He is the key. The skipper moves to 32 from 20. And Wollongong 3 for 97.
Yeah, that just drifted wide of Dodds' leg stump and he was able to open the arms there. Yeah, Pippi's also one of their overseas players. He's a crafty batter and leg spinner. And he loves to get inventive. Well, he's going to have his work cut out for him with Dodds taking him on.
Advancing, clubs that one in the air. It almost travels all the way on the full to the man at long on. Gets away with that one, Dodds, for a single.
I wonder if he's taking inspiration from Adam Zampa's terrible hairstyle.
I don't think it's that, but I've seen a lot worse hair than that.
Than Williams or Zampa's?
Both.
Says a lot about the company you're keeping, Jack.
Yeah, that's right.
Wollongong 3 for 99 on the cusp of 3 figures.
Gets that one away. That brings up the 100 for Wollongong. 5 overs left in the books here. Could it be a real surge from the boys from the Illawarra in the last 5, or will Lindfield keep them in check? 3 for 100. Dodds 34 from 22. And Chappell 9 from 17.
Big 5 overs coming up here for Wollongong. They probably want to go above a runner ball. Get that score up around 145, 150. And then wouldn't it be a wonderful drive back down south if they're taking the New South Wales Community Cup with them? Angus Frawley to come on to bowl. Switching ends, going to bowl from the southern end now. Bowled 3 overs, none for 23 so far.
I think he's bowled better than his figures indicate as well. I think he's troubled the batters fairly regularly here this afternoon, Manners.
Here he is, round the wicket. Oh, Dodd goes for the sort of reverse lap and missed everybody. I think it'll be Byers. We'll just wait for the signal. But I spoke about Sam Constas before, and Toby Dodds trying that same lap shot. But no, seems to be runs off the bat given. So 2 more to the total, 3 for 102. Geez, that was electrifying, wasn't it, on Boxing Day, Jack, when Constas hit that 62. One of the more exciting starts to a Boxing Day test in recent memory. Can Dodds continue? More conventional there, over the top of cover, wide of long off. And there's a misfield, so they'll come back for an easy second. Dodds on to 38 off 24.
Yeah, it can really give you the impetus to go on and have success, but I think it's like we're seeing all these kids that are idolising Sam Constas now, that no-nonsense attitude of coming at the bowlers 100 miles per hour. It's, especially for a debutant, it's not something you really expect to see, is it?
Frawley pitches up and swung away on the onside to the fielder at deep mid-wicket for a single. Toby Dodds playing a captain's knock here. Actually, while we're talking about sort of limited overs cricket, I'd love to see Sam Constas get a chance in Australia's white ball teams. Probably start with the 50-over team, but then in the 20-over team. He's played a couple of really good innings for the Sydney Thunder. They've lost him now as he heads over to get ready for the Sri Lankan Test Tour. He's Frawley, pitched up and squirted away on the onside for a single by Chappell. He moves to 10 off 18. A little slow for my liking, Chappell. He needs to start upping the ante a little bit with his stroke play. You don't want to be sitting there tonight thinking, could I have gone a bit harder? Could I have gone a bit? Could we have scored a few more runs? Frawley continues. Dodds pushed back and defends, and that's a dot ball. Good fielding from the big left arm, quick in his follow through. You'd love to see Constas maybe get a go in Australia's white ball teams as soon as possible. Last ball of Frawley's spell. Whipped away on the onside behind square. Another one to the total. So Wollongong moved to 3 for 107. 7 runs came off Frawley's spell. He finishes 4 overs, none for 30.
Yeah, got in and out of that over without too much drama, which is good. 7, I think, is okay to concede, especially this late on in the innings. So Wollongong move over to 3 for 107. Dodds is the key wicket here. If they could get him, they could really, I think, put a clamp on these last 24 balls or so, especially with Chappell kind of being a bit pedestrian, his run-scoring feats. So Dodds is also the batter that could take things away from them as Williams continues.
Swung over the top for 6. That was a beautiful shot from Dodds there into the construction site. And that was picked up. It was thrown up by Williams, and Dodds just whipped it over mid-wicket for 6. He moves along to 46. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, that was magnificent. So well timed. Looked beautiful off the bat.
Again, in the air, but this one, and deep mid-wicket misjudged it. He came in rather than going back to the rope, and it'll be 4. That was a mistake from the fielder, and Dodds moves along to 50 of 29 deliveries. Beautiful innings from the skipper. Definite chance there, but goes to 50.
Yeah, he gets a bit of luck, but you need that, and that's so damaging and heartbreaking here for Lindfield.
Well, there's an appeal there, and he's out, stumped. Well, Dodds is looking at the umpire with square leg, saying he seems to suggest his foot was behind the line. Chappell gets the stumping. Sorry. Chappell's at the non-striker's end. He's looking perplexed, but Dodds goes, and Williams gets the wicket.
Yeah, well, really hard for us to adjudicate on this because it's at the other end of the ground, and we can't see. We can have a look at a replay here, but it's going to be really hard to judge whether he got back or not. Going for 3 big shots in a row, but regardless, even though he no doubt frustrated to get at this stage, 50 off 30 has really laid the platform here for Wollongong. Already 117 on the board. We said earlier, get to 120 and above, it's going to be I think a threatening score. And he's almost got them there with still 3.5 overs remaining. But the wicket for Lindfield just gives them a little bit of a hope, a little bit of a sniff here to maybe collect a few more wickets and keep that score around 130 or 135. Because I feel, man, as if Dodds had stayed in for any longer, he could have clubbed 2 or 3 sixes and might have really taken the game away from Lindfield. But that dismissal not without some controversy, it seems.
Yeah, huge wicket there. Dodds Made 50 off 30 deliveries, great innings. Lachlan Madison comes to the crease. Nick Madison's other brother. He's off the mark straight away with a single. Pip Williams gets his first wicket of the final. Scored 4 for 118. Too wide there, and he gets a single. Chappell on to 11. So I guess a lot of responsibility now on Chappell to capitalise on this start. He had a good view of Dodd's stroke play. Now it's time for him to show what he can do. At short and slash that. Throw at the non-striker's end, but Manson is safe.
And they've still got a bit of batting to come. They're only 4 down, and you've got, 3 overs. So I think it gives the licence to both Madison and Chappell to free the arms and swing the willow. And, yeah, you have a bit of luck. You're able to hit a few to the boundary and eke a few away. You can, push that score upwards of 140. So, yeah, from here, 4 for 120. 7 and over from here would get them to 141. Whereas, 8 and over, from here would get them to 144.
Probably what they'd be targeting is 10 and over, 150. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to take I don't know if they can get to 150 from here now that Dodds is out, but all depends on the players to come. I just think Chappell has probably occupied too many balls in these kind of middle overs, but it might be up to Madison to kind of be the chief destroyer here, especially against some more slow bowling.
So Charlie Watkins being brought into the attack. He's another overseas player for Lindfield. He's the leading run scorer in the club this season. He's got the ball from the southern end. Manson on strike. Off spinner and swings that away on the onside. Interesting, it seems to be the tactic of Lindfield to go with slow bowling in the closing overs. Yeah. So what their tactic would be is try and make the batters put the pace on the ball.
I think this is the fourth slow bowling option they've gone for today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just nurdled into the offside by Chappell. He's definitely a nudger and a nurdler. A lot of respect from me on that. That's what I used to do. Oh, that's Lachlan Madison going for the reverse sweep, and we'll just see if I don't think he got any bat on it. It'll be a leg by. It's a good start from Watkins.
Yeah, needs to keep it tight here, Watkins. It's not easy bowling in these death overs manners, but yeah, really important to keep it tight.
And just play down the ground by Chappell. They're thinking about 2. Smart stuff. A little bit of classic limited overs cricket there, just finding the gap in the outfield and taking 2. Chappell on to 14. Can he find the boundary? And he yorks himself. Used his feet there, but in the end yorked himself, so probably needed to go a bit further down the pitch to get to it on the full. It's a quicker ball from Watkins, and Chappell just plays it into the cover region. Good over from the overseas import. 6 runs came off it. It's 4 for 126. A little bit conservative for my liking, the approach in these last over or 2, Jack, with wickets in hand. Surprised Wollongong aren't going a little bit harder.
Yeah, I agree. And they'd be hoping they're not going to rue this a little bit later on tonight. How often do we see a team have their score chased down, and we're saying commentary, if they'd only had an extra 10 or 12 runs, and you feel that might even be going down this path, Wollongong?
Williams continues, full toss, and Chappell just played it down to the fielders in the deep for a single. He moves along to 16. Having a chat with the bowler, Chappell and Williams. I wonder what they're saying to each other. Hey, how are you? Williams continues. That's wide of the leg stump, and mistake there from Madison. He should have just let that one go and got the extra, but instead it hit the pad and goes down as a dot ball.
How important was that wicket of Dodd? That's been a real game changer here.
Manson uses his feet and Yorks himself doesn't get it. Wide of cover, one to the target.
Regardless, it's going to be a really interesting run chase because Wollongong, you feel it's probably going to be one of those middling scores between 130 or 140, unless we see some really lofty blows in the last 10 deliveries.
Certainly in the game with this score, no doubt about it. That's in the air, and I wouldn't say Long On made much of an attempt to catch that one. I guess the difficulty is there for Long On. If you come in and get that wrong, you can go for a boundary. So you might be...
Or you're picking your teeth up from the turf.
Yes. So probably the sensible thing to do. That's in the air. Fielder's coming in at deep mid-wicket, and he's dropped it. Oh, he's had a rough couple of overs out there on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and Lachlan Manson survives.
I liked what Madison did there. He didn't get it. He got it far too high in the bat, and that's why it didn't go all the way for 6. But shuffling across outside off stump, giving himself some room, changing the lines. It's one that should have been taken.
Reverse this time and over the fielders. It's in the air. Not quite timed, but they'll get 2. It's much like his brother Nick Madison. Lachlan showing some inventiveness at the crease, some aggression.
Yeah, I feel like they could have been doing this 1 or 2 overs ago, Manners.
Oh, absolutely. So the score, 4 for 133. 7 runs came off that over with all that invention. And 1 over left.
Yeah, Madison needs to get on strike here. Chappell's 17 off 25, a strike rate of only 68. They can't afford to have him soak up 2 or 3 dot balls in the over. You really want to try and launch in these last 6 balls. See if you can get a boundary, a couple of boundaries, or knock one over the top that is able to clear the rope for 6. Just anything you can do to get past that 140. I think 140 is the aim here, and anything over that is a bonus as you try and, I guess, work towards that 150 mark as well, Manners.
Yep, Dan Miles to bowl the last over, the angry ant. He's bowled well. Here he is, Chappell on strike. Hit it over the top to long off and caught. Yeah,
I just wonder why Chappell didn't try and do that a couple of overs earlier. I understand it's the last over here, and you're wanting to obviously get your teammate on strike or looking for that big shot. But I feel like there might have been opportunities 2 or 3 overs earlier, especially even now they're only 5 down. I just feel like they've just missed a bit of an opportunity here, Wollongong, and it means that Madison will be at the non-strikers end for at least another delivery.
Goldston Morris to replace Chappell at the crease. Score 5 for 133 now. It's a good start to this last over from Miles. He's got his second wicket now 2 for 16 after 3.1 overs. He's looked good out there. 5 deliveries left. What can Wollongong piece together from these last 5 deliveries? Love to get above 140, maybe touching 145. Need some big hitting here. Lovely conditions here at Cricket Central. A bit of cloud around, but they don't look very ominous. There is a deep cover, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep forward square leg. What can Goldston Morris do? Probably the sensible thing, just played it into the offside and brings Madison on strike, Lachlan Madison, who's made 8 off 8, shown some courage, some inventiveness, his short stay at the crease. Can he just ice this innings for Wollongong? Add a little cherry on top with a couple of boundaries. I think this is going to be an exciting chase. Swings at that one to long off. They'll take 1. Probably just hit it too well, never two
Yeah, he
there.
did. Yeah. Regardless, it's runs on the board. It's a required run rate that will be hovering around seven and over. They get some early wickets. Wollongong, they're right up in their right up to their eyeballs in this fixture, and they might have even done enough.
Miles continues in the air, down to long on, takes the catch. Had to contend with the rope there, but a good catch. And Miles gets his third wicket and is bowling a brilliant last over here, not allowing these Wollongong batters to find the boundary. And second wicket of the over.
Yeah, good ball there, good line and length. Trying to punch that one high and handsome over long on for 6, but unable to get it clean out of the middle, which is not what you're expecting when you're facing just your second ball innings. This has been good. 4 balls, 2 wickets for 2 runs. He's got 3 for 18 now, Miles, and those dreams of 140 are looking perhaps a little bit faded here for Wollongong. It's it's kind of been an innings that's ebbed and flowed. We've seen moments where Lindfield have had their foot on the throat and have really strangled the life out of Wollongong. Then there's been other times where the Illawarra boys have been able to get on top for 2 or 3 overs, but I don't think either side has really dominated for long periods of time. That said, so we'll probably be fairly satisfied with what they've done in this close to 20 over allotment. 2 balls to go, Manners.
Sherman on strike. Oh, that's beautiful delivery right in the block hole.
That's great bowling.
Started on the stumps and just swung away.
Yeah, he's been really impressive, Miles. 3 for 18 off 3.5, and if Lindfield are able to pull this game out of the fire, then they might be looking back on the last over where he's picked up 2 wickets and only conceded 2 runs. You want to get in and out of this over without any more damage, though.
Tyler Sherman, last ball of the over. Oh, hit that straight. They'll take 2. Bit of a fumble from long on. So that is it for the Wollongong innings. They were sent into bat and they finished 6 for 137. Dan Miles finishes with the excellent figures of 3 for 20 of 4 overs. And you would have to say a very competitive score by Wollongong. Not a score that you would say is out of reach for Lindfield by any stretch of the imagination, but very competitive and excellent stuff by Wollongong. They started off pretty well. They were 1 for 28 after the power play, and they managed to finish the inning 6 for 137. The skipper Dodds with 50 of 30 deliveries was the star, you would have to say.
Yeah, he was the key. He really got things going. He played brilliant from the get-go. Maybe a little bit of controversy around his dismissal. If he'd batted for another 10 or 12 balls, then we might be looking at a Wollongong score that was around 160 or 165. But yeah, I think a competitive score. I think they'll feel confident, Wollongong. They've got plenty of runs to protect, and they'll be backing their bowlers in to get the job done. But at the same time, I think Lindfield's still in with a chance, and I think they'll be happy that, especially through the power surge and some of the other moments during the game, that they were able to keep it to a score that's achievable, if not challenging.
Absolutely. So, change of innings now. We're going to take a break in the moment while the teams change over. But today's coverage is powered by Frogbox, helping cricket clubs across Australia stream every ball, boundary and brilliant moment live. It's not just about the game. It's about sharing the passion with everyone wherever they are. So if your club hasn't joined the Frogbox community, visit frogbox.live to find out more. All right, we'll take a quick break and then we'll be back for the chase by Lindfield.
Maybe just enough over the top of the infield, and it kisses the rope for 4. Certainly not over the middle. This ball hits straight down the throat of mid-off. Zara Smith goes. Miles is happy. This ball lofted, and he gets plenty of this as Madison. A lovely lofted, timed off drive. And he picks up a boundary Well, that's a lovely shot. That's a really lovely shot down the ground. Great authority there from Threadgate. Oh, should have been taken. Probably surprised him, and it came relatively quick. Chance for Epping. Oh, this ball's been skied. This one might be taken. Oh, no, it's been put down as well. So
Oh, he's bowled him straight through Cooper Madison there, sweeping across the line. Didn't make it. In the air, over long on, and that is going all the way for 6. Threadgate has got onto that one and smashed it over the boundary. A swung away behind square on the onside. Bit of work for the fielder to do, and he won't get there. And that's another boundary for Wollongong. That's hit beautifully behind square on the onside for 4. Too short from Mundy, and Dodds was onto it in a flash. He moves on. That's hit beautifully behind square on the onside for 4. Too short from Mundy, and Dodds was onto it in a flash. He moves.
And then maybe even more. As it looks like Chan's going to continue. It looks like they're going to bowl him out here. So his 3 have gone for 26.
They haven't taken the power surge, so what happens?
Oh, almost chopped on there from Threadgate. It's really trying to monster that through the offside. It's got a deep mid on, or a long on, I should say. A deep cover. Or deep cover point, a regulation cover. Oh, advances and stumped. Chan gets the breakthrough. Finally gets his name on the score sheet in the wickets tally after 2 drop catches in his first over. And Threadgate's innings of 33 has to come to.
Jealous he's got hair.
This ball swept away beautifully backward a square leg for 4. Valuable runs here for Dodd.
Here he is, round the wicket. Oh, Dodd goes for the sort of reverse lap and missed everybody. I think it'll be Byers. We'll just wait for the signal. But I spoke about Sam. Swung over the top for 6. That was a beautiful shot from Dodds there into the construction site.
That's so damaging and heartbreaking here for Lindfield.
Well, there's an appeal there, and he's out, stumped. So probably the sensible thing to do. That's in the air. Fielder's coming in at deep mid-wicket, and he's dropped it. Oh, he's bowled well. Here he is, Chappell on strike. Hit it over the top to long off and caught. Miles continues. In the air, down to long on. Takes the catch. Had to contend with the rope there. And welcome back to Cricket Central for the Community Cup final. And the umpires are out in the middle, and the Lindfield batters are heading out, and the Wollongong team are having a little huddle on the outfield, bit of a pump up by the skipper Dodds. And Lindfield will need 138 to be the champions. Wollongong will need to defend 137 for back-to-back titles. I'm Andrew Menzel. I'm joined by Jack Clifton in the commentary box. We saw a pretty good innings from Wollongong in the first innings. 6 for 137. Toby Dodds 50 off 30 deliveries. A very competitive total, but Lindfield will definitely feel it's within reach. They were able to bowl some pretty tight overs there towards the end and just restrict Wollongong from getting up above that 150 into really challenging territory.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky or challenging run chase, but I think what they did, especially in the last couple of overs and maybe even around the 9 and 10 over mark, was, pull it back that it's achievable. I think if Wollongong had been able to get up over 150, 160 mark, 165, then it's not impossible, but you're kind of getting towards those stakes in this kind of game. So I've always been a firm believer of runs on the board gives you an advantage, and Wollongong have got that. A required run rate will be just below 7 runs per over. 6.9 is what the scoreboard's telling us. So, I'm really intrigued, man, as I say, what Wollongong's tactics are like with the ball and in the field, and also similarly what Lindfield are going to be like with the bat. If they're going to try and come out in these first 4 overs and get themselves to none for 35 or none for 40, take the pressure off, or whether they're just going to just try and knock the ball around, keep wickets in hands, and perhaps try and launch in the second 10 overs.
So it looks like the off-spinner Lachlan Maddinson will open the bowling from the Cricket Central end. So Wollongong starting with spin. Dalloway, the skipper, will be on strike. Watkins is at the non-strikers end. So we are playing Big Bash power play rules. So the first 4 overs, the fielding side is only allowed 2 players outside the circle, and then the batting side can take a 2-over power surge after the 11th over. So the 2 fielders are in the deep. We've got a deep cover and a wide mid-wicket. Dalloway on strike. Tossed up and played into the offside. And the chase is underway. Glory beckons either of these sides. To James Dalloway, the skipper, on strike. Can he play a captain's knock like Toby Dodds? Manson tosses up and swept. So 3 dot balls to start, and I don't know, Jack, I can hear a very vocal Wollongong side.
Oh, they're up and about. They're confident about this, and I think the more pressure that's built, the louder they're going to get.
Tossed up, and Manson dives away and gets a hand to it. So 4 dot balls to start. Pressure already mounting on the Lindfield side. You'd have to say Lindfield more the home side than the Wollongong side, considering probably closer to Lindfield here, and that's nicely driven, and they're away. There's a deep long off, or a deep cover, and they get 1 run, so Dalloway is off the mark. Manson continuing around the wicket to the right-hander, so just looking to bowl a really tight line. That's hit hard, and good fielding from mid-on. Dives, and that's going to be a run out. It is. What a start from Wollongong. Tremendous fielding from mid-on. Dived across, saved a boundary, and the Lindfield batters were caught napping, and the first wicket goes down. A run out, the cruelest of dismissals, and Watkins is gone.
Yeah, that's a great piece of fielding, and that's a disastrous start for Lindfield. There was hesitation with the batsman, but a great piece of fielding on the edge of the circle. Great throw as well, and they did it in a canter, affecting the run out, did Wollongong. Perfect start. Pressure can do funny things, and at the end of the first over, I think that was the last ball of the over, they get the breakthrough. They're 1 down Lindfield with only 1 on the board.
Just hesitation is always fatal when you're running between the wickets, and Watkins hit that ball very well. Hesitated when he saw the diving stop from mid-on. But probably they needed to just hit and run, and probably would have made it had he not hesitated. But tremendous stuff from Wollongong. They've got the early breakthrough, and Lindfield end the first over 1 for 1. And brings Parulika out to the crease. He'll be on strike as well. So Wood to bowl from the southern end. Ashley Parulika on strike. Aggressive field here from Wollongong. They've got to slip in. Can they get another wicket? Good bounce there from Wood, and Parulika had a swing across the line at that. David Wood, right arm fast bowler.
Plenty of bounce, isn't he?
One for one here. Great start from the defending champs. That was very close to a wide. I'm not sure why it wasn't called, to be honest.
Yeah,
Judging by some of the calls from the previous innings.
Yeah, that was well out of the reach there of Parulika.
Did swing late and maybe swung after the batter. But I think what you want when you're looking at umpires calling wide is consistency. So you just want to make sure that both teams are getting the same type of calls. Here's Wood again. Good bounce, you're right, and Parulika's all at sea. That new pink ball is hooping around.
Yeah, really tall, upright action. Yeah, from Wood. Hits the pitch really hard, and you can see there it wasn't a relatively short ball, but still was able to get that bounce from that short of a length error in the pitch. So yeah, he's going to cause some problems with that high, fresh seam manners.
Definitely. And skipper Toby Dodds just seemed to have a little chat to the batter there. And he's gone the lap, and that is for, well, some inventiveness from the right-hander and a beautiful shot. Just moved across to the offside and flicked it away down to the vacant fine leg region. And that is Lindfield's first boundary.
Yeah, smart cricket there. I think you got to do that in this format. Shuffle yourself around, be a little bit premeditated. And yeah, the execution was 10 out of 10 there from Parulika. They needed that because that required run rate was creeping up towards 7.5 and over, even at this early stage.
Wood again, just finding the outside half of the bat. A little bit of a misfield, but they get one.
Yeah, just need to find their groove. Both these batsmen. Obviously, the early run out wasn't helpful, but yeah, they don't want to throw away their wickets. At an unnecessary rate here. You don't want to dig yourself in a hole either, so you've got to find that happy medium of putting away the bad balls, but also working balls into the guts, picking up your ones and twos, and trying to limit as many dot balls as you can, which, I think through the first 2 overs there's been about 7 or 8 already. So
Quick single there, quick leg by. Score now 1 for 7.
Yeah, a couple of overs through this first power play, which will go for 4 overs.
So at the same stage, Wollongong after 2 overs were 1 for 13. So the same on wickets, but Wollongong scored 6 more runs. Early lead to the defending champs.
Yeah, and this is where the pressure's not just on the batters, not just on the bowlers and the fielders, but the captain as well, especially for the fielding side. And Madison continues.
Hit down the ground beautifully from the skipper, bouncing away for 4. That was tossed up, a little bit of an invitation. And Dalloway hits straight and hard for 4. His first boundary of the innings. Just apologies for those watching on KO Freebies. The score seems to be a bit stuck there. The score is 1 for 11, and it's the third over. Here's Madison, Lachlan Madison. And just whipped it to mid-on, and they take a single. Slight hesitation there.
He was the top scorer in their semi-final victory earlier this afternoon. Dalloway made 27 out of their 6 for 104. And he started off in a similar fashion here. He'll be a key performer, you feel, if Lindfield are to pull this one off. Of course, Wollongong looking for back-to-back titles. They won this inaugural Cricket New South Wales Community Cup last year, and they're actually playing, I think, on Tuesday night for the equivalent T20 tournament down in the Illawarra.
Could do the double, and that's a single to the deep cover region. A lot of silverware on offer this week in domestic cricket. Australia are playing England in a T20 game in the Women's Ashes tomorrow night at the Sydney Cricket Ground. If New South Wales, if Australia win there, they'll retain the Ashes. Here's Dalloway on strike. Pulling that one. There's a fielder in the deep, got a lot of ground to make up and won't get there, and that's 4. And Dalloway is starting to middle the ball really well. That's his second boundary of the over, and Lindfield is starting to get going.
Yep, short and dispatched away. That was a good shot. They've starting to feel a bit more comfortable, a few looser deliveries, and you've got to put them away as well. That's the important thing at this stage of the innings.
Scored 1 for 17.
With us in the power play.
Short and wide. Quicker ball and not tempted. A bit of hesitation there, a bit of uncertainty. That run out has probably made them a little nervous. So at the end of the third over, it's 1 for 17. Good over there for Lindfield. They scored 10 runs. Dalloway a couple of boundaries. He's raced to 10 off 11. Parulika is 6 off 6. And the required run rate is 7.1 runs per over. We are in for a thriller here at Cricket Central. Yeah, but I was saying, the Women's Ashes continuing in Sydney tomorrow night at the SCG. So if you're in Sydney, get out there. It's not often that the women's national team plays in the major grounds. So go and support them, and you could be there for a bit of history as Australia retains the Ashes. Play and miss. That was a good ball. Bounced and moved and could so easily have found the outside edge of Parulika's bat. Scored 1 for 17. Woods bowled really well. Hits the pitch hard. He's one of those bowlers. Tall, powerful bowler. Steepling bounce. And again, the bat is frustrated. That's not called a wide.
Yeah, he's a tricky bowler to face. He has a very upright action, open-chested, and we've spoken a few times already this afternoon about the bounce that he's able to extract from the pitch, and he's plenty of pace as well. We're standing behind where the wicketkeeper is, where Campbell is, and he's got plenty of zip on the deliveries at the moment here to start the fourth over.
Again beats Parulika on the outside of the bat.
Yeah, probably something they've needed, Wollongong. The last couple of overs have kind of got away from them a little bit, especially that last over. But, and that last delivery, Wood even just altering his pace there a little bit, maybe rolling his fingers across the seam to take a little bit of the speed off the ball. And it's what you want with, all your bowlers, but especially your opening bowlers, to think about, what they're doing. Doesn't seem he's too far away from grabbing a wicket here.
Short ball again, and Parulika's tried to swing that away on the onside. The skipper at the non-striker's end is signalling for a wide, potentially over the batter's shoulders. Not given. Some frustration already from the Lindfield skipper with some of the calls.
Yeah, it's hard when you're in a position like this. When you play to miss 3 or 4 times, you start thinking if you're something that you're doing is wrong or the bowl's just getting the better of you. But, Wood, very difficult to face at the moment.
Rolls his fingers across that one, and Perulika just waited for that one and smashed it behind square on the onside for 4.
Well, that helps. When you don't mind missing 3 or 4 in a row, if you can middle one like that, that was a great shot from Perulika. Just, rock back and really watch the ball as it came onto the bat. And, no one within cooey of that delivery. I don't think it really would have mattered. It raced to the fence out there at square leg Manners.
Yeah, Wood just trying for the slower ball leg cutter. Ended up being a bit of a gift. Wonder if maybe that was unnecessary. Perulika was having so much trouble with his regulation delivery. Anyway, last ball of the over. He's gone for the lap again, and that'll be 4 more. So what a great finish to this 4th over. 2 boundaries in a row. We'll just wait for a signal from the umpire's end because I think that was a no ball. So, yes, it is a no ball, and it'll be a free hit to end the power play. So they score 1 for 26 boundary and then another boundary off a no ball. So the first free hit of the final would to continue. Perulika on strike. Can he take advantage of this free hit? He's gone way outside off stump. That has to be a wide, surely. And it's not called, perhaps because the batter moved so far outside off stump. Must have been very close to landing off the cut strip. Strange call from the umpire, but it's 1 for 26 after 4 overs. So at the end of the power play, Wollongong were 1 for 28, and Lindfield are 1 for 26, so not much in it. Jack Clifton has stepped out of the commentary box. I've been joined by Martin Gleeson, Head of Community Cricket in New South Wales. G'day, Martin. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Manners. And this is looking very, very tight, actually.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a thriller in prospect with Lindfield getting off to a good start. We're just seeing here the replay of the end of the 4th over with Perulika playing some first shots. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the history of this competition. I know it was brought in last season. Why was it brought in, and how's it been going?
Yeah, this is the 2nd year. There was a bit of discussion around having an FA Cup style competition available for senior cricket, for community cricket.
Oh, that could have been out, just popped up. Buckley's been brought in to bowl, found the outside of Dalloway's bat, but landed safely, 1 for 27.
So we did a fair bit of research in the community of what the need might be, and came up with the idea of the opportunity for community cricketers to play under BBL playing conditions with power surges, etc. The only difference being we're using a pink ball. And
why the pink ball?
There's still some country areas in particular that still play in white clothes for T20 cricket. So rather than everybody having to have coloured clothing, the pink allowed for players to wear whatever they would normally wear within their club system. And last year was the first year. And we're grateful to be able to be at Cricket Central as the culmination of this year's competition.
Yeah, fantastic. Buckley to continue. Almost got a wicket off his first ball. Perulika on strike. Down the pitch and times it nicely to long on. 1 more to the total. 1 for 28 now for Lindfield. So when you say the community sort of wanted a competition like that, is that because it's sort of short form competition, 20 over?
Yeah, it is. There's a growing number of community competitions which are running T20 comps within their own structure. Some of them might be as standalone competitions. Some of them are embedded amongst 2-day cricket, 1-day cricket, etc. And the opportunity for players to be able to play against guys they don't normally get to play against, and also there's been a little bit of travel for some of the teams going out into country areas, and country areas coming into Sydney, and country areas going to other country areas, and it's a great opportunity for community cricket to come together in a way that's a little bit different to what they would normally do.
Buckley continues. Pitched up, sit him on the pad. Looked pretty straight, but he was a long way down the pitch. Not out. Buckley's got the old teapot going. He's not happy. I think when the batter's 3 metres down the crease, you're not going to get many LBWs. Martin, So which clubs, how are you eligible to enter into this competition?
Yeah, the first 2 years have been on an entry basis, so clubs enter and there's a fee involved with playing. The competition's a knockout competition, which we felt for the benefit of being able to put in a season competition. It kind of needs to be knockout, otherwise there's just not enough playing days to be able to get from a starting competition all the way through to semi-finals and then finals. So it's open to all community clubs across the state, and it's been really interesting of getting a mix of Shires clubs in Sydney to the district clubs in some of the bigger country areas to some of the smaller country areas as well, putting teams in. So it's been quite varied actually.
And how many clubs have entered the competition this year?
We've had just over 20 in the 2 years, each of the 2 years, and we're looking at different models of how do we grow that, how do we ensure that this is going to be fit for purpose, it's going to serve the need. The feedback from the players has been really positive, and ultimately that's the most important part because it has been developed for the benefit of the players, and we'll sit down now after this and wanting to use Cricket Central as being the pinnacle of it. This is the first game of community cricket that's been played at Cricket Central since it's come online. So to be able to play at a first-class venue is a little bit special in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of 5 overs, Lindfield 1 for 31, 6th over about to begin, Wood to continue. 2 overs, none for 14 so far, bowled very well. I guess one of the big challenges for community cricket is participation. Here's Wood continuing. Dalloway lets that go and it's a wide. Finally, they get a call. One of the challenges is participation. So obviously, this is a huge incentive to some of these players to play in knockout competition, play against other clubs, and then as you say, you could find yourself playing a final on a first-class ground.
Yeah, it is, and interestingly over the last few years, representative cricket at association level, at community, is not as strong as it used to be. That kind of used to be the pinnacle, whereas people, obviously these are a group of mates, they play together every week, the club gets behind the opportunity for them to play at another level and play in another competition, and we've found that it's kind of rallied clubs together, like the entrance guys that came up today, they came in the minibus, so it becomes a bit of an event in itself, and it's a really nice way for clubs to be able to value add to their players and for players to test themselves in another environment.
It's a good ball and goes under Dalloway's bat. Also, you get a bit of a city-country rivalry.
Well, it's worked out quite nicely that way, of the way that the semis played out, of the two Shires teams playing this morning, and then the two country playing in the second semi-final, and which has kind of given us a city versus country, and we know that runs pretty deep, and bragging rights are very, very important, and I'm sure in Wollongong, having won the competition last year, we're pretty keen to come back and to do it again. So it certainly adds another value, another layer to the competition overall.
A stroke through the covers, a fielder in the deep, one more to the total. Lindfield 1 for 33, and then obviously must be really exciting for these players that this final's being covered on KO freebies by Frogbox. So with multi-camera and commentary, I mean this would be something that these players can look back with a lot of pride on in years to come.
Yeah, absolutely, and certainly the advent of Frogbox over the last couple of years and the opportunities, although it's probably broken a few careers of people being able to talk about certain things at community level when they go to work on Monday, and now there's actually evidence to either support what they're saying or refute it. But the advent of Frogbox has opened community cricket up to a much broader audience, and to be able to have today's final on KO is then opening a little bit more, and for people in Wollongong's case, for example, that weren't able to travel today are able to sit at home and watch, and hopefully a few others in the Illawarra and around the state are tuning in to be able to see the quality of cricket.
And so I guess other clubs can look to enter in next season if they're watching this thinking, would love to be a part of it. How do they go about that?
Yeah, we'll sit down after today and review the season. We'll survey the players and the clubs involved to make sure that it continues to develop and serve the purpose of what they need. And then we'll put out a call leading into next season. We'll be very, very keen that once the cricket schedule comes out for next year to make sure we can lock in a date to be able to play the final here, and then kind of work back playing days from that, and then probably around about the July-August period we'll open up invitations for the community to get involved and to enter teams.
It's a bit of a flow-on effect, isn't it? You wait for the international schedule, which filters down to the state schedule, which filters down, and finally you'll know when Cricket Central is available. Last question before I let you go. Have you got a tip? Linfield are 1 for 35, chasing 138. What's your tip?
I'm really sitting on the fence. It'll go very, very close. I did tip at the start of the game that I thought Wollongong were going to be very, very strong, but I thought Lindfield bowled really well. And I suspect that Dalloway is probably, his performance might be central to where this game ends up going.
Well, thank you, Martin. Thanks for joining me, and congratulations on getting today up and running.
Thank you, and thanks for your support. It's been a great addition to the day.
Thank you. That was Martin Gleeson there, head of community cricket. The score 1 for 35, and a new over begins with Buckley to continue. And that's just played into the offside by Dalloway. Score now 1 for 36. And joining me back is Jack Clifton. I missed you.
I missed you as well, mate. I was about to send a postcard, but I thought that might be a little bit over the top. But, yeah, some really great points, Marty made. I think competitions like this really serve a purpose, and a lot of thought and planning goes into it as well. And, yeah, I think the city versus country rivalry, and, yeah, I think Cricket New South Wales is doing a really good job of incorporating kind of bush cricket and that kind of stuff into their cricket programs as well. So great to see. I know good friend of ours, Matt Ellis, who works with Cricket New South Wales, told me a few of the Dubbo sides were involved. It was out at Orange, southern New South Wales, out through places like Cowra and Bega, where guys like Daniel Hughes and different players have come from in the past. So. This ball knocked over the top of the infield. I'll come back for a second. But yeah, I think it's interesting kind of hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, about what the process is, why they've started a competition like this, and who it benefits. And I think it's fitting, isn't it, that we've had two high quality semi-finals, and the final we feel is going even higher than that with what looks to be a close contest here. Well, lofted and punched down the ground. I'll pick up one.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much so.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for us to be here as we sit at the top of the broadcast. Manners and I have not done this tournament before, so yeah, getting used to know the players. As they're playing a miss outside the off stump, and yeah, it's been an enthralling contest so far, and you feel it's probably pretty even Stevens. Lindfield 1 for 40, Wollongong doing their best to try and peg it back here. I've been impressed with Buckley. Just seems like a wily customer, doesn't he? Changes up his pace, runs wide of the crease, then runs narrow of the crease, right near the umpire, just trying to get any advantage he can. Advancing, and easing this one out through the cover region. They might think about a second here. They turn and go very quickly, and they throw to the end that Paralakar was going to, and he got home comfortably. Good bit of running by this pair.
I just think it's great. I mean, you see on TV now all these T20 competitions all around Australia, all around the world, and this is their chance for a bit of glory.
Steered away into the gully region. They'll pick up another single. So pretty good over this one for the Lindfield boys. 8 coming from it. They move along to 1 for 43 after 7.
And they are pretty much neck and neck at the same stage. Wollongong was 2 for 43, so it lost one more wicket. So absolutely even Stevens run-wise at the same stage between these two team. So we're in for a grandstand finish here at Cricket Central in Silverwater.
That's what we want in a final, one that can go right down to the wire. I'm sure both sets of players don't want one that goes down to the wire. but things can obviously change in between that. But, yeah, two well-set batsmen. Dalloway 18 from 21. Paralakar a runner ball 21. I want to break this partnership after getting a wicket, a run out in the opening over. 1 for 1. Lindfield have recovered sufficiently. It's such a strange game, cricket, where it just takes one ball or two balls. You get a couple of quick wickets and it can really throw some trepidation into the batting side. And alternatively for Lindfield, they have an over where they get 14 or 15, then all of a sudden that required run rate of 7.3 is diminished down to 6.5 or so. So Zara Smith, the opening batsman, into the attack. There's a misfield there, parried away, and they'll come back for a second. There was a dive at the non-strikers end that probably was needed by Paralakar, but he does get home as the throw was wide, and they start off with a couple.
So Jaden Zara Smith with the ball. He's recently back from the New South Wales Bush Blues team, so representative player, and made the Australian Country Merit team.
Oh, this is more runs. It's going to be 4 of them for Lindfield. Knocked around the corner, found the space. It was smart play from Dalloway. Skipper really leading from the front. Much like his counterpart Toby Dodds did earlier in the afternoon. Dalloway to 24. Lindfield now 1 for 49, and 6 runs have come off the first 2 deliveries from this over.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a nice shot from the skipper, moving across and just helping along down to the fine leg region.
All work to fine leg, so he does get a dot ball in there. The man at fine leg is up in the circle, considering we're past the power play. I'm surprised that they are going with a short fine leg and no other protection behind him. It just takes Zara Smith to lose his line a little bit, and there's runs galore down there. Playing a miss outside the off stump for Dalloway. So yeah, it's an interesting field. They've got 4 out. They've got a deep cover, which is no surprise. We've seen that in a lot of limited overs cricket. A long on, a deep mid wicket, a deep third man, which I think is a bit intriguing, but no deep fine leg, a short fine leg up inside the circle. Nudge there to that man. They'll have a shot at the non-strikers end. That's actually Cooper Bromley, who was listed as the 12th man. And 50 for Lindfield, so it's come in 7.5 overs or 47 deliveries. Both Dalloway and Paralakar have done well, got through that early testing period, and now looking to cash in and find some runs.
Well, Wood had Paralakar and all sorts early, but since then he's got quite comfortable. Apparently he jets off to India every now and then and plays some cricket over there.
Faces up now. He's on 21. Launches this one. Doesn't get hold of it, but tries to flay that out through cover. Collects the single, but it's another good one. 8 coming from it. It's well above the required run rate for them. Lindfield 1 for 51. In reply to Wollongong 6 for 137. Dalloway 25. And Paralakar 22. 8 overs in the books.
Yeah, so Lindfield have just edged ahead of Wollongong. Lindfield 1 for 51, Wollongong 2 for 47 at the same stage. A big week for T20 cricket in Sydney. So the Big Bash is coming to its conclusion, and both Sydney teams have made the finals. The Sydney Thunder will be hosting the 4th place team on Wednesday night at Sydney Showgrounds.
We haven't seen that an awful lot in the BBL, have we? Both the Sixers and Thunder inside that top 4 bracket.
They've actually never played a finals match against each other, so it would be
Great.
great.
BBL 14.
That's it. It could be this week. And then Tuesday night, the Sydney Sixers taking on the Hurricanes down in Hobart.
We're still waiting on that result, because I know the Scorchers with their win last night had propelled themselves into 4th, but they needed Hobart to beat the Stars this afternoon.
That's right. So tonight, if the Stars can beat the Hurricanes, then they will go to 4th and play the Thunder at Wednesday night, which would be box office. You could have Warner versus Maxwell at Sydney Showgrounds.
Yeah, you'd be nervous if you were a Scorchers player or supporter, wouldn't you, tonight? quite a unique position they found themselves in. A couple of games ago, they were 3-6. They had to win their last 2 games and had to rely on the Renegades winning yesterday, which they did, and they've won their 2 games. And now, I think 3 of the 4 steps that had to take place have happened. It would be tragic for them and their supporter base if they fell it, I'm sure. None of the other supporters will feel very sorry for them. Had a lot of success, have the Perth Scorchers. So just maybe a few little storm clouds blowing through. It's getting quite dark here now at Cricket Central. A swing and a miss outside the off stump.
Nice.
It's going to go down as a wide. That was a very late call. And I don't agree with that. I think with the natural angle that Norris is getting across him, it's where the ball pitches, not where it ends up. I have a hard time kind of agreeing with that, but it goes down as a wide and has to be re-bowled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Powerfully struck by Dalloway. Tyler Sherman doing the fielding down there.
Yeah, this Big Bash season has been so exciting. Every game has meant something right until the end. And as you say, yesterday, the Renegades needed to win their game to stay in the race. They did, but then they were leapfrogged by the Scorchers later that day, and the Stars could come over the top of them tonight.
Oh, lovely little paddle over the top, and it'll go down, roll down to the fine leg fence for 4. Everything coming up trumps for Lindfield at the moment. Runs continue to flow, already 7 off this over with 2 balls remaining. Paralakar moves to 27 from 25. Dalloway, the skipper, 26 from 27 to back up his 27 in the semi-final, which they beat Epping by 21 runs for, and they've moved along to 58 for 1.
Yeah, now the skipper for Wollongong has plugged that gap down at fine leg, and I think that's the right thing to do. Paralakar has gone to that shot 3 times now his innings, found the boundary every time. He does look very skillful at using the angle and the pace. So they've plugged that gap. It's good captaincy. Just moving him a bit wider now. But this is the Sam Constas effect. Everyone's lapping and reverse lapping. And I know Constas not the first player to do it, but he's certainly made a name for himself.
They'll come through. They'll scamper. Another diving effort at the striker's end. And that collects them the 8th run off the over. So it's 3 overs in a row. They've scored 8 runs or more, Lindfield. And the required run rate, which was up at 7.5 runs per over at the start of the innings, has moved down to 7.1. This partnership, the key one. I think if Wollongong are serious about taking out the title later this afternoon, they've got to find a way to break this partnership. They look so comfortable, this pair. And Dalloway just happy to defend into the offside. The good thing that Lindfield are doing as well is kind of keeping themselves ahead of the run rate at 1 for 59 after 9 is wickets in hand. We saw that with Wollongong. I think they were 4 down with still 4 or 5 overs to go, and now edging towards the halfway mark of the innings, Lindfield is still only 1 down. So even if that required run rate crept up above 8 or 8.5, if you've got wickets in the sheds, Manners, that can really pay dividends for you at the end.
Yeah, and we spoke about in the first innings how important the power surge could be. Wollongong only scored 12 runs in their power surge overs. If Lindfield take the power surge at the right time and go big, then that is going to take a big chunk off the rest of this chase. So this game's still very much in the balance, but Lindfield have laid themselves a very strong foundation.
Oh, trying to pull that one, ends up just directing it straight down to mid-off. They're going to turn quickly and come back for a second. So misfield down there, and I think it might even be the skipper.
Good pressure from the batters there, because that
They've
was
run really well.
purely pressure from them taking the second run. The fielder looked up, saw it, and misfielded.
So they start with a couple of runs. And he's that one into the gap. And this is what you can do when you've kept the run rate in a manageable position. You can just dink the ball around, knock the ball around, pick up the 1s and 2s.
Well, we've seen them put pressure on the fielding side a lot in the last couple of overs, and Very important. And there's also fair few Lindfield supporters below us. Very vocal, we can hear through the windows here at Cricket Central.
Oh, knocked away. The last moment almost ricocheted back onto the stumps for Dalloway, but he was well aware, showed good cricket IQ there to knock the ball away at the last moment, or it cannoned into the stumps. I do wonder, talking about that power surge, Menners, I do wonder when they decide to take it, if they keep this required run rate around 70 or wait until perhaps the 14th or 15th over. As this ball's clipped away. 4 more for Lindfield. They're really starting to show their class now. This pair, Dalloway picks up a boundary to move to 30. Parallel Carter 31. It's another good over here. Already 7 from it. 2 balls remaining. Lindfield progress on to 1 for 66.
Yeah, good stuff from the skipper there, just helping it on its way.
It's a poor line from Wollongong. They don't want to be drifting onto that leg stump. Oh, slashed away. It's a thick outside edge. There's a chase down there for the Wollongong man. He won't get there. 4 more. Back-to-back boundaries for Dalloway and Lindfield. And the game is really being turned on its head and perhaps being reefed out of the grasp of Wollongong at the moment. Dalloway to 34. Lindfield to 1 for 70. And 11 of what's turning out to be a very big over here for the Lindfield boys. Last ball of the over. Just knocks this one away. Backward a point. Excellent over. Smart cricket from Lindfield. Good running. And a little bit of luck as well. They collect 12 from it at the halfway mark of the innings. Lindfield are 1 for 71. They now require just 67 off 60 deliveries. And you've got to say, they're in the box seat now at the halfway mark of the innings, Andrew Mensel.
Yeah, absolutely. 12 runs off that over. And these two have put on 70. They came together in the first over after a run out when the score was 1, and they've now taken it to 1 for 71. The same stage at the halfway mark, Wollongong were 2 for 73. Slightly ahead on the runs, but Lindfield wickets in hand. The skipper is on 35, Parulakar is on 31, and we're just seeing highlights of their stroke play.
Well, it was the second 10 overs, wasn't it, that Wollongong fell away. Only 64 runs, lost a few wickets.
Norris continues, and that's driven through the offside.
And we mentioned it at the time, especially in the last, the 18th over, the 19th over, the 20th over, where they were just kind of stuck in the mud a little bit, Wollongong. Are they going to regret or rue a bit of a missed opportunity of not getting runs? And at the moment, you'd want a bit more than 67 runs or 66 runs to play with here. The bowling has probably been inconsistent, the best way to describe it. There's been a little bit of good, but a bit more of bad, I think.
Darcy Norris bowls that one, and that would have been out. Direct hit would have had Parulakar. He started down the pitch, was sent back by a skipper. Probably never a single in it. Straight to gully. But they survive. Lindfield are 1 for 72. Look, I think Wollongong bowled pretty well. Wood, in particular, beat the bat a lot in his first spell. But Lindfield got through it. They weathered the storm, and they've been very skillful in finding the gaps. That's pitched up and just played into the offside, and they'll take one. They're thinking about 2. Oh, that's smart running. And there's a big appeal, but he's just got there, and really skillful stuff. He just weighted that shot nicely, didn't hit it too hard, and it was the perfect ball because it just nurdled to sort of in between the 30-yard circle and the boundary. They were able to come back for 2.
Yeah, I think the first 3 or 4 overs, they were very consistent, but outside of Wood, they haven't been able to really build any extensive pressure. We saw Lindfield, they had a few overs where only 4 or 5 runs were scored, whereas in the last 4 or 5 overs particularly, there's been 8 or more runs scored, I think, in 4 straight overs. So, it's just being able to build that extensive pressure, consistent pressure, they haven't been able to do. But I think I want to give credit to Lindfield. I think they're Their shot selection, their stroke play has been really good, and their running between the wickets has been immaculate, almost kind of perfect, putting the pressure back onto Wollongong now that, probably sets up Toby Dodds to have to make a bit of a decision here, the skipper for Wollongong.
Norris continues. Drift down the leg side, and that is called a wide. Just lost his action there. The score now 1 for 75.
You might not be thinking it yet because there's still in excess of 50 runs to be scored, in excess of 60 runs to be scored. But, there comes a time where maybe you have to pull something out of the hat, maybe go a little bit left field.
Bring the field up.
Make some fielding changes as well. Otherwise, keeps going the way it's going. Lindfield might canter to victory.
It's just nudged into the offside. Perulika has played a little gem of an innings here since coming in the first over. Indian descent, so he's got that nice wristy stroke play. He's got 1 for 76. Run rate required 6.6. I guess it will... A very tactical decision to be made by Dalloway of when to take the power surge. Here's Norris. Oh, that's beaten the bat. So easily could have found a little bit of willow, but in the end goes through to the keeper. And that's a dot ball. Valuable stuff for Wollongong. The defending champions are on the ropes here.
There hasn't been enough of that today. Hasn't been enough of those dot balls, and certainly not many in succession. But that was a good ball. I like the look at Norris here. Tall, high action, and especially getting the angle across Dalloway might be causing him a few little issues.
Swung at that one. Oh, it's gone over sort of where first slip would be, and they've taken two. Not quite where he's intending to hit that one.
I lost track of the ball. I knew he'd hit it, but I couldn't see where it was. But he picks up a couple to finish and turns a probably mediocre over into an okay over there for Lindfield, as they get 7 from it.
Remember, today's coverage is proudly brought to you by Frogbox, the ultimate way to bring community cricket to life. Frogbox lets clubs stream every big moment so fans, families and friends can stay connected wherever they are. If your club isn't using Frogbox, visit frogbox.live to see how it can transform your cricket experience. Score here 1 for 78 after 11 overs. The same stage, Wollongong with 3 for 74, so not much in it runs-wise, but Lindfield have kept their wickets in hand, which can be so valuable now. They haven't taken the power surge yet, and Lachlan Madison being brought back into the attack from the southern end, bowled from the cricket central end. Bowling around the wicket to the right-hander. And just played nicely behind point, and they get 1 run. Dalloway 38, Perulika 34. These two have put on 77, 78. Skipper Dalloway back on strike. Just brought the field up a little bit here in the offside. And he's bowled it into his toes and he's whipped it down to long on. They take 1. Lindfield 1 for 80. So they just 58 more runs to be crowned champions. Oh, that's just tossed up and took the pace off it, did Lachlan Madison. And Perulika played away on the onside. Yeah, poor Nick Madison injured himself and ruled out of the Big Bash this summer, was all set to play for the Sydney Thunder. Callaway waits and just plays back to the bowler, no run. 1 for 81. Martin Gleeson was saying here that about 20 clubs entered this competition this year, Jack. Tossed up and played short mid-wicket, no run. I think if you're a club and you're eligible, this would be great competition to enter.
Definitely.
Knockout T20 comp against clubs from all around the state.
It makes you a better cricketer as well, and better all-round athletes. Come up against better players, and players that have got their games figured out, and those kinds of things. It's I think it's a really good thing. And then you throw the country aspect in it as well. If you're you're a team that's in a regional area, it's a great opportunity that you get to. Even if you don't make it to this stage, the semi-final and the finals, getting to come up against some teams from Sydney or other bush teams as well. I think it's a really exciting prospect, and it just adds another dimension to your cricket journey that isn't just going to be happening on Saturdays.
Yeah, and there were some discussions. There is some discussions that by next season, hopefully, there'll be lights actually at this ground, so you'll be able to play the final maybe under lights.
Yep.
In prime time. You think about it. Playing prime time in a community cup final. So, I think it's a real great competition, and we've been a part of a few of them. We've both done the Plan B regional bash in the past. These competitions are so important for communities, so important for young cricketers. Norris continues and it's driven wide of cover. That's a beautiful shot. Bit of work to do from the fielder, made it, and they get two. But classy shot there from Perulika.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of getting a lot of twos in this innings. They've run well between the wickets to get those, but they haven't been bogged down. They haven't just been having to settle for singles. Still a lot of really good timing and placement. I'd love to have a look at the scoreboard at the end of the game and just see how many twos they have achieved.
I'll talk to the stats department about that. Just a reverse lap there over the keeper and just one. Came off the top of the bat rather than the middle, so just one there for Perulika. He moves along to 39. Dalloway's 41. And Wollongong are desperate for a dismissal here. They need to take wickets to slow the run rate down. And Will Roo just being a little bit more being not quite aggressive enough at the end of their innings. Norris continues. He beats the skipper. Pushed it across the left-hander. 1 for 86.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a few more twists and turns in this one, though. A wicket would certainly change things, but Wollongong doing an okay job of, just keeping things in check. 3 runs from the first 3 balls here.
Again, beats him on the outside, and Dalloway just advancing down the pitch, but yorked himself again. Yeah, you're right. Certainly could be a few more twists and turns. That run rate required still at 7.1 per over. But you would think Dalloway will take the power surge pretty soon.
Well, I think you can give yourself a bit of an impetus. You can get 16 or 18 runs from that 2-over spell, then you're in the box seat.
Again beats him, and that's 3 in a row for Norris. He'll be frustrated that he hasn't been able to find the edge. The pink ball does swing around. We've seen that. Obviously, one of our New South Wales great products, Mitchell Stark, is so good at swinging that pink ball. And Martin Gleeson was saying before, the reason they use the pink ball is because some country teams still play in whites, so you can use the pink ball in whatever outfit you're playing in. But Norris is liking the pink ball for sure. Last ball of his 3rd over. Driven to cover, and good fielding by the skipper. No runs, so good end to the over. Just 3 runs came off it. It's 1 for 86 off 13 overs. The same stage, Wollongong with 3 for 87, but they'd taken the power surge. So we've just seen a drink taken out to the Lindfield batters. Wonder if there's a bit of a tactical discussion going on now about that power surge.
Yeah, I don't think you want to leave it to the last 2 overs, because I think that just puts too much pressure on you. Even if you only needed 10 or 11 off the last 2 overs, I think it can put yourself under a little bit of unwanted pressure. To be honest, I'd be taking it, if not now, at least in the next couple of overs. You've got 2 well-set batters. You're well on your way.
Manson continues, and Perulika has tried to go the reverse lap again, and Should be a bye through to the wicketkeeper. Yep. Score now 1 for 87. That was the Devil's number. Can it take a wicket? Yeah, the problem is as well, if you wait too long, you know, these players get a bit gun shy because they don't want to get out just before you take it. Push wide of cover. They'll take one. They're going to think about two here. And good fielding from the long off. Got to that ball very quickly and kept it to one. But yeah, that can be another issue. You know, Perulika and Dalloway just pushed it around because they want to be there for the power search. Just sometimes you're better off just taking it and ripping the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
That's pitched up, and is that a great catch by Lachlan Madison? It is an absolute jaffa. Diving across to his left, took a one-handed specky to dismiss Perulika for 39. That is a much-needed wicket for Wollongong, and Lindfield at 2 for 88.
Yeah, I thought it would take something special for them to try and change the outcome of this game. And, yeah, Madison with some swift footwork here, as you'll see on the replay. He's moved quickly and plucked that out of the sky. That is beautifully done. And maybe the start of something, a little twist or turn here in the 14th over. They needed to get that breakthrough because the game was quickly being taken away from them. Perulika with a really good innings of 39, but Lindfield lose their second on 88, and yeah, still 49 runs to tie the game, and still 50 runs to win.
Yeah, we're behind the action, so I wasn't sure if that was a bump ball. It certainly wasn't. That was a terrific catch, and that ends an 87-run partnership between Dalloway and Perulika. It's got their side on course for a victory here. So great contribution from Perulika, great partnership with the skipper. But now it's up to the middle and lower order to finish this game off. So this is where the nerves can start to jangle a little bit. Jack, new batter at the crease, Williams to join his skipper. Manson, that's a classic catch. I guarantee he'll be watching the replay of that on KF Freebies later.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a little bit of magic in his fourth over.
Williams on strike. Whips it away on the onside. And he's off the mark straight away. The overseas import.
Yeah, wicket's so valuable at this stage of the innings as well. Just tires down and the new man coming in, but even Dalloway puts a bit more pressure on him.
That's slashed at it just over the point fielder. They'll take two because it's wide of the sweeper, but so close to picking out point there, and Dalloway moves to 44, scored 2 for 91. Yeah, it's 2 for 91 after 14 overs.
He has to bat through the whole innings, Dalloway, I think. I think especially at this stage, for him to get at now or in the next few overs, you've got another new batsman in. Just puts pressure on that middle order. There's obviously still a bit of class to come for Lindfield, but
that wicket also might slow them down in taking the power surge. Do they give?
I think they wait at least another 2 or 3 now.
Or do they give Williams at least an over to get in? You probably want to take it while Dalloway's out there.
That's all the risk is. I think sometimes teams, I think they overthink it. I think they think about all the scenarios, the what ifs, so to speak. But yeah, I think sometimes you just got to trust your gut. Maybe their gut is saying overs 15 and 16 or overs 16 and 17, and maybe this early on hasn't come into it. It's been a discussion now with 6 overs remaining, and the new man Williams on strike with Lindfield 2 for 91.
What can Norris do? He's been good today. Just worked down the ground by Williams. Bright sun now at Cricket Central.
Sunnies are coming on for A. Mensel.
Norris has bowled really well. Just conceded 19 runs in his 3.1 overs so far.
Yeah, he's been really good. Yeah, I think he's put the ball in good areas. And, especially against the the left-handers, they've struggled against him.
Delaware just pushes down to long off for a single. Score now 2 for 93. The run rate required. It's up around 8 runs per over. So it's just staying
To creep up, isn't it?
creep up a bit.
The wickets in hand help them, but you also don't want to let this get away from you and
You don't
find
want to be
yourself chasing 9 and over.
Yeah, you don't want to be chasing 16 off the last 2. You want to try and get it done before then.
Which makes me think that they are kind of gearing towards taking the power surge soon. It just kind of seems like they've just settled into a groove. They're just happy to kind of ease the singles into the gaps. So I wouldn't be surprised if at either the end of this over or the end of the following over they decide to pull the trigger on that, Manners.
Yeah, I agree. They've got to take it soon. They have a big power surge where they score 20 runs. It's
almost game over, isn't it?
Exactly. He's pulled that one away on the onside. They'll get 2 here because Dalloway, he's shown great skill today in finding the gaps.
He has.
Reminds me a bit of Michael Bevan. He's hitting the ball into the outfield, but wide of the fielders to allow them time to come back for a second.
He runs really well between the wickets as well. You look at the scorecard. There's not too many boundaries next to his name, but he's at 47 from 48, and he's keeping Lindfield, keeping their head above water here as they try and chase down this total.
Just squirted away on the onside. They're not going to get 2 there because Dalloway kind of lost his footing as he was playing that shot. But runs off every ball of this over so far. What Lindfield need to do, they need to keep scoring. We're in for an absolute thriller here. The trophy is on the line. The defending champs are battling with the ball, but Lindfield are coming hard. That's pitched up and slashed at by Williams, and it just found the outside edge, and they'll take 2 down to the 3rd region. That takes the score to 99. And at the end of the 15th over, the score is 2 for 99. At the same stage, Wollongong with 3 for 100. So neck and neck. Do not go anywhere. This is set up for a magical finish.
Yeah, 39 required off the last 5 overs, 39 from 30. Lindfield 2 for 99, but Williams looking to build something here. He's 5 from 4, and Dalloway is the key. He's the rock. Has been the rock for the whole innings, 48 off 49. And what do we see transpire in these last 5 overs? Still a power surge up their sleeve, which we'll see when they decide to take that. But it will be Dalloway on strike. Buckley coming back into the attack. 2 overs for him so far today. None for 13. Exciting stuff. This is what you want to see in a final. The 2 best clubs all tournament. Lindfield looking for their inaugural title. Wollongong looking for back-to-back triumphs. Ball just dropped onto the onside and they scamper through for another quick single. Dalloway now just 1 away from 50. Brings up the century for Lindfield. 2 for 100 coming in the 16th over.
So still no power surge. I thought they might take it this over.
It helps when you've got the skipper out there, but he obviously feels confident with what they're doing at the moment. Don't be surprised to see them just be forced to take it in the last 2 overs. But yeah, it can put you under pressure. In comes Buckley to the new man Williams. Steered away. Just use the pace there. Should get back for a second. There's a bit of hesitation. No, they just settle for 1. Good piece of fielding down there by Bromley. So a couple of singles to start here. 2 for 101. 37 required from 28 deliveries. A wicket would be invaluable to Wollongong at this stage. Under cloudy skies here at Cricket Central for the Cricket New South Wales Community Cup. That's lovely. Lovely punch back down past the stumps at the bowler's end. And that's 50 for Dalloway. coming off 51 balls. He's been the rock. He's holding the innings together. And perhaps the hopes of the Lindfield Cricket Club ride with their opening batsman and skipper. 50 off 51, fine innings. He's run well, has found the gaps nicely.
But he'll want to finish the job.
Yeah, I think you're right, Menners. That 50 wouldn't mean anything to Dalloway if it meant that his side didn't lift up the silverware.
Exactly. Interesting, a really heavy cloud is coming across the grounds here. And I just wonder, imagine we got just a little bit of a sprinkle. Who that'd favour? Maybe to favour the batting side. It'd be hard for the bowlers to grip the ball. Ball can skid off the pitch when there's just a little bit of moisture on it.
Yeah, if we did have an event where it did bucket down and they had to go off, I think Lindfield would be above with the Duckworth-Lewis having only lost 2 wickets. But
Duckworth-Lewis-Stern, don't forget Stern.
No, Duckworth. Duckworth and Lewis do a lot of the heavy lifting, I think.
Poor Stern.
It's all worked off the hip. There'll be a shy at the strikers and they get in for another single. So they pick up 5 from that over, but it's a good one for Buckley. 3 overs, none for 18, and Wollongong, because now, with 4 overs remaining, they still require 34, and that required run rate, Menners, is now up to 8.5 and over, so they need 34 from 24 balls, and yeah, sometimes you can be a little bit too casual. And I think what we've seen from Lindfield, their strength has been running well, picking up the 1s and 2s. We haven't seen many boundaries, although the power surge has now been called. So for the next 2 overs, only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle, and I think that's the right call. It really seems to be now or never.
And I really think the result of this final could be determined by these next 2 overs. If Wollongong bowl well, and we've seen it in many power surges in the past, that it can actually bring a flood of wickets, which would be disastrous for Lindfield now. But conversely, if Lindfield can score, 20, 25 off these 2 overs, then they will have gone a long way to winning this final.
Dalloway on strike. In charge of Zara Smith. Short pulled away. Finds a gap, not out of the middle, but finds some green pastures out there. They turn quickly. They come back for the second. And a dive from Dalloway, not for the first time this afternoon, picks up 2 and takes him to a runnable 53. And they start with a couple, 2 for 106.
32 off 23 now.
Yeah, you don't want that required runs off balls to get out and by more than 10. He hammers that one. He's got plenty of that one. 1 bounce over the boundary for 4. Dalloway standing tall, the skipper. Haven't seen many boundaries off the willow. That one was crisply struck out through mid-wicket to move to 57. 6 off 2 already. And Lindfield charging 2 for 110.
That ball right in the slot. And Dalloway took full advantage of it.
Pokes this one away in the air, uppishly near the man at short forward square leg. They'll just take the single, but damage has been done in the first 3 balls. Zara Smith has got to try and find a way of pegging this back. But 2, 4 and 1 off the willow of Dalloway, who's moved to 58. The highest individual score we've seen today.
Yeah, Dalloway probably tried to get that one finer, but just couldn't quite place it properly. And
Dodd's making some field changes here, Menners.
oh, indeed. So the deep points coming in. There's a long on and a deep mid-wicket.
Williams just pushes and pokes this one down the ground. Happy to play second fiddle. Just give the strike to his aforementioned captain.
26 off 20 needed now. Lindfield getting closer and closer to glory.
They're firming, aren't they? Works that one onto the onside. Good ball. Jammed him in full length there from Zara Smith. Smart bowling.
25 off 19.
Already 9 from this over, though. So, considering what we saw from Wollongong, I think they only got 9 in there
They got 12 in their power surge.
12 in their entire power surge. So already 9 with 1 ball remained as Williams go big here. He tries to do it. Comes off the back of the bat, I think, and he's been caught. He's been given out. He doesn't want to go, Williams. He's inquiring with the Wollongong players. I'm not sure what he's trying to check. It looked like from here it hit the back of the bat, but perhaps he's saying that it hit his helmet. He seems to be motioning and pointing to his helmet manners. But regardless, Williams goes at the end of the over. Lindfield lose their third, 3 for 113.
Yeah, maybe he's saying it was bat onto helmet. But he's been given out, so he goes for 8. And a much-needed wicket for Wollongong. Lindfield 3 for 113. 25 off the last 18 balls.
Yeah, this over will be telling one. I feel if Wollongong could keep this to 6 or 7 off there, which is a big if when you've only got 2 fielders out in protection, it's going to probably put them just ahead. Whereas, yeah, Lindfield have another over like that where they pick up 9 or 10. That might be curtains for them. Williams goes, but good news if you're a Lindfield supporter. Dalloway's still there on 59, and he will have the strike. Kelly is the new man. Such a nerve-wracking experience for everyone, but especially if you're a new batsman coming at this stage. David Kelly, you've got Angus Frawley, Daniel Miles and James Mundy, the next 3.
They'd be very nervous right now.
You almost wouldn't want to. You want to come in because you want to be the hero, but you almost don't want to come in. It's a extremely apprehensive feeling, I'm sure, down in the Lindfield camp. 3 for 113, 3 overs remaining. They require 25 of 18 deliveries, and it's Wood who comes in to bowl his 4th and final over. 3 overs, none for 18. Shuffles across and ekes this one down to third man, but all Dalloway proceeds to do is collect the single, so they won't mind that at all. Wollongong get the in batsman off strike. Dalloway to 60, and it's actually Trewin who is the new man in, not Kelly.
24 off 17 required. Who wants to be a hero? Lindfield, they just need someone to have a bit of a go. A couple of boundaries in this over, and geez, it's almost over.
Yeah, you don't want to be taking it into the 20th over, do you? It's probably what's going to happen. But.
So they've sent in the veteran, Josh Trewin. He's been playing for many, many years in the Shires competition.
Trewin plays and misses outside the off stump.
And they call him Mr. Fix-It, so perfect player for this situation.
Hard position to come in, and a dot ball first up to him.
23 off 16.
Nerves all around, nervous players.
Nervous commentators.
Nervous umpires. They might be called upon. Going to make a decision like that. Wide of the off stump and called a wide. And rightfully so. That was well wide of Trewin there. And that's not what they needed. That just helps the Lindfield cause a little bit.
22 off 16 required.
Trewin plays and misses. Lovely ball from Wood. Great comeback there. Pitched it close to the off stump, and a plan to miss by Trewin, who has failed to connect on the 2 balls he's faced so far. Three balls remaining in the over. 3 for 115. Ekes this one up the offside. They'll take on the arm. They're happy just to concede that single, Wollongong. So 1 dot wide dot 1. So 3 off the over. I said if they could keep it to 6 or 7, they would be happy. But the question is, with Dalloway on strike, can they get out of this over without too much damage over these last two deliveries, Manners.
Yeah, 22 off 15 required. So 14. You're right, if they can find the boundary off one of these two deliveries.
Oh, he's hammered that one. That's a boundary. It's a big shot for Lindfield. And for Dalloway, who collects another boundary, and what a time to get it. Takes him to 64. And Lindfield now 3 for 120, a giant leap towards collecting the silverware, perhaps. Just 18 required now off 13 deliveries.
A beautiful shot, a little bit short. And he just walked across and helped it on its way. Found the gap, which is so important.
Dalloway skies this one over the top. He'll get at least one. And they'll be happy to settle for that because he'll retain the strike. 17 needed off the last two overs for Lindfield. 3 for 121. Dalloway with a 4 and a single to finish. He is 65 from 59. Trewin, the new man, on 1. And Woods, 4 overs finish with none for 26. So this is what we wanted in a final. We wanted a cliffhanger, a nail biter, and that's what we're getting. Lindfield 3 for 121 after 18 in pursuit of Wollongong 6 for 137. And we should also say that a super over might not be out of the equation as well, assuming that's what it would go to if it was a tied score.
Yeah, so 17 off 12 required from Lindfield. They scored 17 in their power surge as opposed to the 12 runs Wollongong scored in their power surge. So slightly better one for Lindfield.
So Zara Smith to bowl. He's been expensive today, 1 for 29 from 3. What does he have? On the pads and whipped away by Dalloway, who might want two here. They've turned. They're taking on the arm here. It's a decent throw, but just a little bit offline. And Dalloway gets back for 2. Moves to 67.
Oh, the Lindfield supporters, they're going nuts in front of us.
15 required now off 11, so it's almost getting back to a runner ball. Dalloway the key, though. Oh, lovely ball. Big appeal for caught from behind the stumps from Chappell. Falls on deaf ears, but it's a dot ball, and that's gold for Wollongong at this stage of the innings.
Your hopeful appeal there. Just seemed to be a noise from the bat hitting the ground. Pitched up delivery from Zara Smith.
That's where he needs to be, in that vicinity. Nice and full. Oh, the ball hit back. It's squirted. Could be a runner. There's a shy one on striker's end. And they get back. Probably doesn't hurt Wollongong too much because it's a dot ball regardless. But there was bodies scurrying around everywhere. Mena's nerves happening. Another dot ball stays at 3 for 123.
Yeah, that was a good ball. Right up in the block hole.
15 from 9 now.
See the bowler here throwing at the stumps, and it bounced over the stumps.
Oh, he's bowled at him! Beautiful ball! Zara Smith full and cannons into the leg stump. And Dalloway's marvellous innings comes to an end at 67. And all of a sudden it's Wollongong that have one hand on the trophy. 15 from 8 required. Nerves of steel from Zara Smith. He's got 2 for 31. And Lindfield lose their 4th. But what a marvellous innings from Dalloway. Couldn't quite bat all the way through the innings. But his wonderful knock of 67 comes to an end. And it's pressure on now for Lindfield.
Oh, very much so. And this has been a great over from Zara Smith. Right up in the block hole. Kept the ball pitched up, so very difficult for the skipper Dalloway to get underneath anything. And then knocked his leg stump out of the ground. And that was a great innings by Dalloway, but he'll be so frustrated he couldn't be there to finish it off. And now this match is...
You got to say Wollongong on top now. 15 off 8.
Absolutely. And these
Two new batters.
last two deliveries, so important for Lindfield.
It's like the weather is the mood that everyone's feeling. It's kind of got a bit gloomy. It's nerve-wracking out here. Breeze has picked up a little bit. So McCallum is the new man. Trewin at the non-striker's end on 1.
And he's been described as an open-faced slapper with the bat, an aggressive lower-order batter.
Well, at this stage, there's no trying to look for a single. I think you've got to try and go for a big shot here. Now that it's 15 off 8, you've got 2 new batters. You haven't got that more experienced batsman to get on strike. McCallum slogs at this and just ekes it out onto the onside for a single. So it means that they need 14 off 7 now. McCallum on 1, Trevor on 1, 4 for 124. 14 from 7 or 2 runs a ball. They're not going to do this in 1s and 2s. Someone needs to find the boundary and probably needs to find it at least a couple of times. Zara Smith, he's bowled great in this over. With 3 off it, can he hold his nerve? Get out of this over without any more damage. Full, great ball, just worked down the ground, just beat a single. 13 required off the final over here for Lindfield as they search for their inaugural title. While Wollongong looking to make it back to back. They're tightening the screws, the Illawarra boys. Lindfield 4 for 125 with 13 required off the final 6 balls, Andrew Mansell.
Yeah, well, Lindfield have just let this run chase get away from them. They had it under control. And I think we saw it a little bit in the Wollongong innings, just a little bit, I would say, timid maybe is the right word. When Dalloway and Peruluke were going, probably needed to take the power surge then and really try and take advantage of the partnership they'd put together. But instead, this match is going down to the wire. 13 off 6, you're right. Ty is certainly not out of the equation. So much pressure on Treewin. They call him the Mr. Fix-It. Well, they need him to fix this chase right now.
It's going to be Buckley to bowl the last over. He's got none for 18 from 3. Trewin faces up. He crunches that one. Oh, a great effort. It's palmed away. They should be able to get back for a second, and they do. Although a little bit nonchalant was Trewin there. But he picks up 2 after an attempted catch in the outfield. That makes it 11 off 5 now.
That could have been anything. Could have been out. Could have been more runs because mid-wicket dived across, flew like a bird, stuck out a left hand, I think, and stopped the ball going into the mid-wicket region.
Drags this one away. Can't get it past the man at fine leg, so gets it to 10 from 4. So doing his job here, Buckley, 2 and 1 off the first 2 balls of the over. They batted first, Wollongong, 6 for 137 on the strength of Dodds, 50 from 30, and Threadgate, 33 from 29. So McCallum here, a very unenviable position, I'm sure, for a lot of us here. Pressure on with boundary needed. If you can get a maximum, that would really bring the Lindfield fans to their feet.
Chance of glory.
That's right. It's not out of the question, 10 from 4.
Absolutely.
Needs to get bat on ball, though. Hits this one away. It'll only be 1. That's well bowled again, 9 from 3.
Geez, that was a good ball, right up in the block hole.
They've bowled really well the last few overs, haven't they?
9 off 3, you're right. Yeah, they've really finished well, Wollongong. All that experience. They do very well up in their local competition and defending champions. They're showing why they're so successful.
This ball clubbed out into the deep. It might go all the way for 4. It does! Boundary for Lindfield. Trewin standing up. Backs against the wall stuff. And it's now 5 off 2 or 4 off 2 to tie the game.
And just a smidgen of rain starting. Very light rain coming. Just see it on the window here. So, could that just add a little bit of... make the little ball a little slippery?
Well, the first thing you're doing at Lindfield is you're trying to get 4 runs. Don't worry about 5. Let's just get it to a tie first. And we're a little bit unsure whether it is a super over or whether it's count back on wickets or boundaries scored or whatever. But we will get that information to you if it does end up being a tie. But 2 balls remaining, 4 to tie, 5 to win. Buckley into Trewin. Trewin coaches one in the air and gone. Trewin departs. He can barely believe it as he squeezed it out, and it was a smart catch at point. So to win now for Lindfield, they would need to get 5 or greater. They would need to hit a maximum, or if there was a no ball or wide or something like that, but a 4 off the last ball would tie the game. But Trewin, he was the one scoring the runs. 9 off 8 for him. He departs. Buckley holding his nerve there. So David Kelly is the new man in. So just got the confirmation, if it is a tie, it does go to a super over. So to send it to a super over, David Kelly has to find the boundary. It's had everything. This match, runs, wickets, excitement in this final over, just when we thought Wollongong were home and hose was a boundary, and then we thought Lindfield might have a chance. They lose the wicket off the second last ball of the innings.
So 6 to win, boundary for a super over.
Anything else, Wollongong win. Yeah. So here he comes. Buckley into the new man, Kelly. Coming in without facing a ball. 4 to win. 4 to tie, 6 to a win. He's clubbed that one down the ground. It's not going to get to the boundary, though. They'll come back for 2. And they're appealing for a run out. In fact, they're almost going to go back for a third. Is there going to be a run out? No one knows what's going on. The stumps have already been dislodged. I think the umpires are just going to say it's going to be a single. So it means that Wollongong are the victors for the Cricket New South Wales Community Cup for a second consecutive season. They were made to work for by a gallant Lindfield side who just come up short. Just didn't quite have it in them to pull this game out of the fire. But if nothing else, what a promotion this is for community cricket in New South Wales. A wonderful display of batting, bowling and fielding by both these sides. But it is Wollongong. They've got a Lindfield finishing at 5 for 135. I thought they only got the 1 run. So, but regardless, it is a Wollongong win. Lindfield, on the back of James Dalloway, gave themselves hopes, but just lost their way in the last 2 or 3 overs, didn't they, Manners? And it's Wollongong that hang on for a nail-biting win and a second Cricket New South Wales Community Cup for them.
Yeah, fantastic for Wollongong. They go back-to-back, and we saw, well, they got back to their winning ways in that last few overs. They bowled so well. They just didn't let Lindfield get away from them. So many good deliveries right up in the block hole that just restricted Lindfield. They couldn't find the boundary. And they fought back. At one stage, Lindfield looked like they were going to snatch the title. Perulakar and Dalloway put on 87 for the second wicket, and they looked like they were going to take Lindfield to glory. But in the end, Wollongong have come home with a wet sail, and they will head back down south with the title in their back pockets, the title 2 years in a row. Great stuff from the Wollongong club, and they look a happy bunch at the moment. There's hugs, there's celebrations, and just a great game, though. Congratulations to both teams. Lindfield, excellent win in the semi-final. They managed to get through to the final, and they competed all the way. They will feel frustrated. They got desperately close. They just weren't able to finish it off. And, you know, as we wrap up the New South Wales Community Cup final, huge thanks to Frogbox for making today's coverage happen. If you want to get Frogbox into your club, if you don't already have it, head to frogbox.live. But it's been a real privilege to broadcast this final, and congratulations to both these teams. You know, these are just like, so many community cricketers around the country that know what it's like to turn up for your club on a Saturday or a Sunday after a hard day's work week, and they put in their all today. And look, Wollongong go home the champions, but I think cricket is the real winner today.
Yeah, fantastic insight into how talented these players are. And, Wollongong deserve winners, but commiserations to Lindfield Cricket Club, as Mena said. A wonderful tournament for them and, some proud displays that they certainly put forward. And that wraps up all of the coverage we have for you here from Cricket Central. Thank you so much for tuning in over the day. If you were perhaps watching the first couple of semi-finals on YouTube and then jumped across to us on KO Sports, it's been a pleasure to bring you the coverage on behalf of my co-colleague Andrew Menzel. I've been Jack Clifton. Wollongong winners winning the Cricket New South Wales Community Cup for a second consecutive season.
Looker just waited for that one and smashed
It much trouble with his regulation delivery. Anyway, last ball of the over. He's gone for the lap again, and that'll be 4 more. So what a great finish to this 4th over. 2 made the Australian Country Merit team.
Oh, this is more runs. It's going to be 4 of them for Lindfield. Knocked around the corner.
Made the Australian Country Merit team.
Oh, this is more runs. It's going to be 4 of them for Lindfield. Knocked around the corner.
Tonight.
Oh, a lovely little paddle over the top. And it'll go down, roll down to the fine leg fence for 4. Everything coming up. Oh, knocked away. The last moment almost ricocheted back onto the stumps. 10th over. As this ball's clipped away. 4 more for Lindfield. They're really starting to show their class now. Oh, slashed away. It's a thick outside edge. There's a chase down there for the Wollongong man. He won't get there. 4 more. Back to back. But a bit more of bad, I think.
Darcy Norris bowls that one, and that would have been out. Direct hit would have had Perula carry. He started, just played into the offside, and they'll take one. They're thinking about 2. Oh, that's smart running. And it's a big appeal, but he's just got there and swung at that one. Oh, it's gone over sort of where first slip would be, and they've taken 2. That's pitched up, and is that a great catch by Lachlan Madison? It is. That's pitched up, and is that a great catch by Lachlan Madison? It is.
Runs off balls to get out by more than 10. He hammers that one. He's got plenty of that one. 1 bounce over the boundary for 4. He tries to do it. Comes off the back of the bat, I think, and he's been caught. He's been given out. He doesn't want to go. He tries to do it. Comes off the back of the bat, I think, and he's been caught. He's been given out. He doesn't want to go. Oh, he's hammered that one. That's a boundary. It's a big shot for Lindfield. And for Dalloway, who can... Oh, the ball hit back. It's squirted. Could be a runner. There's a shy one on striker's end. And they get back. Probably doesn't hurt Wollongong too much.
Over the stumps.
Oh, he's bowled at him. Beautiful ball. Zara Smith full. And cannons into the leg stump. He crunches that one. Oh, a great effort. It's palmed away. They should be able to get back for a second, and they do. Although a little bit nonchalant was Trewin there.
Why they're so successful.
This ball clubbed out into the deep. It might go all the way for 4. It does. Boundary for Lindfield. Buckley into Trewin. Trewin coaches one in the air and gone. Trewin departs the Cricket New South Wales Community Cup for a second consecutive season. They were made to work for by it by a gallant Lindfield side who just come up short. Just didn't quite have it in them to pull this game out of the fire. But if nothing else, what a promotion this is for community cricket